Hello, everyone, and welcome to SmashBoxxTV's podcast 192. I'm your host, Terry Miller, the Disc Golf Guy, along with Johnny GBO Van Derzen.
Those aren't my middle initials.
Oh. Well,
I'd love them if they were, though.
Hey. So hello, everyone. Again, welcome. We're down here at the Brickyard 20 Ale House in downtown Emporia. Obviously, the only place to be right now for the GBO.
Rumor has
Where
it.
else would you rather be?
No place I'd rather be.
All right. Well, this is the place to be. So we are here amongst probably a couple hundred golfers, all taking in the action. Of course, we want to thank Brickyard 20 for hosting us. Who knows? I'm just going to throw out a few disclaimers, and these may cover the entire week. We don't know what's going to happen. We're looking forward to a really good week. Live broadcast, of course, Thursday, Friday, Saturday of the disc golf action. But then each night we're going to be in various locations around Emporia, bringing you some nightly recaps. You've seen those throughout the last few years. I've been solo last year. A couple years ago, it was me and Johnny. This year, it's going to be a little bit of everything. So hopefully everything's going good. People can hear us.
It appears to be that way. I'm getting signal that audio and video is good. Not that I don't care. I have literally 2 drinks sitting next to me.
Wow.
Someone bought me Ryan Pilcher.
Ryan Pilcher, our first sponsor of the night.
He bought me some Bullet Bourbon, so I'm excited. And on top of the drink that I had, I'm good to go for at least another 20 minutes.
You should just start mixing them all. Like any drink that comes in, just keep pouring them into a single vessel of sorts and then consume them.
No.
That's what I think a mixed drink really is.
This is why
I've heard.
This is why you're not a mixologist.
Exactly. So, again, thank you guys for joining in, for tuning in. I have to wonder how many people aren't tuned in and watching right now because they're actually here and enjoying the action. Thousands.
Apparently 1,600. So if our numbers are lower tonight, I'm going to blame the GBO because everyone here is having so much fun.
Well, again, come on down, Brickyard 20 Ale House in Emporia, and so let's start with a few basics. Give everyone a...
Yeah, I was going to say, let's start with what's going on here at the Brickyard 20 tonight.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
I was going to say, tonight we're here at the Brickyard 20. They are the gathering place for a couple reasons. One, our podcast, clearly. Well, who wouldn't want to be here? Number 2, Fantasy Disc Golf is here tonight. So you can come here and make your GBO picks. It's an exclusive league just for people here at GBO. You need to show up here in order to get the secret code to join the secret league and win some secret prizes. And they're secret because I don't know what they are.
And the Secret Service is watching.
I'm assuming so. They don't trust us.
Yep.
I know there's people outside putting. We've got a video game tournament going on over there. I'm signed up for Tetris and Street Fighter 2. At some point, he's going to come over and I'm going to get pulled away from the podcast.
Wow. Who's better at Tetris, you or me?
I bet we're pretty close. You're pretty good. Now, I think, it depends on the type of Tetris.
It does.
What controller you're using, because you and I are probably both really good with the old school Nintendo controller.
Yeah.
That is a joystick, so it might be a little more difficult. But I'm going to try anyway.
That's not even Tetris in my book, then.
Me neither. I agree.
I don't got time for that. All right. Well, there is a lot of stuff going on. I believe this is also the location for the weekly putting leagues that take place over in the wintertime.
Yep.
They've expanded. They've remodeled throughout the years. Now, even since coming here last year, they're serving up food, which is something that they haven't done in the past. This place just continues to grow. I literally think it's an entire block big. That's what it feels like as I look of 100 and some feet, maybe 200 feet one way, and then look down another way, and then you can go outside to an open-air patio area. This place is enormous. So glad to be here, and again, such gracious hosts. So if you want to see some of the action or you want to partake in what Johnny was just talking about and the Fantasy Disc Golf League. Now, to clarify, it's completely free to participate.
Completely free.
And Doug Bierkes, your tournament director, had told us that they're just giving away tons of stuff for it. So come on down, get yourself signed up for it, and it's a totally separate league just for the GBO, and you have to be here for it. And you don't have to be present to win.
And they're going to be doing it at least until midnight tonight. Wow. So it's 9 o'clock right now. I just talked to the Pro Tour driver, and
Patrick?
I believe it's Pat. Was that Patrick? I'd never met him before.
I don't know who you were talking to, so I didn't see him.
And well, he said he is volunteering. No, he was the Pro Tour driver last year.
Oh, okay, yeah, Jim.
And Jim, yes. And so he said he's going to be doing volunteering from 9 to midnight tonight, taking in entries for Fantasy Disc Golf.
All right. Well, thank you, Mr. Castillo. We appreciate it. So to give everyone a little bit of update as to the last day or day and a half, Johnny V and I got in the car yesterday morning, and then drove pretty much straight through all the way here to Emporia. We had a brief pit stop or two, but basically showed up here in Emporia. Not too much going on last night that we partook in. The beer fest was going on. I know Nate and Val had a beer release along with a number of other craft breweries that were partaking. And we kind of got here at the very tail end of that. And then we laid low from there.
We did. Last night you did some video editing for an event that you went to this past weekend. I worked on a little bit of a couple graphic stuff for the broadcast before I called it a night around midnight.
So that's where we were at. And then today, just kind of saw a little bit what was going on. There's people prepping everywhere. Oh. Every course you go to, every place you go, whether it's at the Dynamic Disc Distribution Center or you saw the hundreds of people coming in and out of the storefront on Commercial Street. Everywhere you go, there was just golfers galore, which is part of what makes this week so fun and exciting.
We were talking to somebody earlier tonight that said, this place is so fantastic. I might come next year and not even play,
yeah,
and just play the flex events, because I can get 5 tournaments in and still get to watch every pro play almost.
Yeah,
it's an amazing place this week.
Lots of things going on. So many of you are used to seeing us and hearing from us when it comes to the live broadcast over on the Disc Golf Pro Tour. This week, all geared up, of course, for the GBO. This is a PDGA National Tour event that will be coming at you. And I think we're on, the second, third, fourth stop? I don't even know how many on the National Tour. I know they opened in Vegas. Gosh, is this the second stop?
This might just be the second stop.
I get all confused with all the tours taking place. But second stop on the PDGA National Tour and here in Emporia. Of course, many of you already know, Emporia is then going to later play host this year to the Junior World Championships. So I'm sure a lot of people are coming here able to check out the scene, see what's going on, maybe get a preview of some of the courses, or maybe some of the parents are here knowing they're bringing their kids back in a few months, whatever the case might be. But a pretty amazing place here in Emporia.
I have nothing to add to that.
All right, well, that's good. All right, and we want to thank Ryan Pilcher, as you said. He was our first beverage sponsor here of the night. We're watching pool take place. I see some darts being played. There was a pizza eating contest a little earlier. I think if you can clear all 2 or 3 of these large pizzas among just 2 people, you get them for free or something like that.
I might have been able to until I had the calzone. There's no way. I put half of that in a box. I'm going to save that for tomorrow.
I saw also the likes of Sarah Holcomb. I think we're going to be catching up with her tonight. She's got a little project in the works, so we're really excited to kind of break out what that's going to be. We'll let her give you all the details. There was a long-haired, as opposed to the short-haired, there was a long-haired James Conrad sighting, and we constantly talk about getting James Conrad on the show. When I saw him a few weeks ago, I said, hey, we'll see you at GBO. That'd be a great place to make sure to catch up with you. So if not tonight, I guarantee you that sometime this week we'll have him sit in and join us as well.
Long overdue. Not quite as long overdue as Scott Stokely was, but definitely long overdue.
That is true. And a quick follow-up to last week, which I think we should do more of, follow-ups. But anyway, quick follow-up to last week. Had a great conversation with Scott Stokely. It was a real pleasure having him on the show. But then just kind of the outpouring and the people that came, I don't want to say just out of the woodwork, but so many people came forward last week and talked about how Scott had impacted them. I got some private messages. I believe Scott got some private messages. He was really impactful to a lot of people in his heyday, and having him reintroduced yet again on the scene as big as we can possibly do it, I think you're going to see more great stuff coming out of Scott moving forward. So it was a real pleasure to have him. So. Yep. All right, Johnny.
Well, should we start like we usually do? Do a little bit of PDGA wrap-up about some events?
And one thing I'll say, we never did reach out to Dynamite
We didn't. The way we're set
Dana,
up.
sorry.
The way we're set up tonight, it wasn't really conducive to have Dana on, just because we don't have all the normal monitors and computers and all this other stuff. We're literally working off a laptop tonight. So let's skip talking about Dana, even though Dana's our bestest buddy, and let's talk about a different AM. Dana. We're going to talk about the Amateur Championships at Bowling Green. We don't normally speak a lot about amateur events, but the Bowling Green AM Championships is a unique event because it is one of the largest AM events in the country, one of the most prestigious ones as well. It used to be, and probably still is, you can look at some of the champions from that event and get a general idea of who's going to be competing at AM Worlds for the championship.
Yeah, it's a really good indicator. The field sizes are large. People come from everywhere. The competition is stiff. So you're right. It's a really good indicator of some of our rising stars. Speaking of rising stars, Ray Gruber says, "Go Jen Allen," and then gives us a super chat. So we appreciate that, Ray.
Thank you, Ray.
All right, what did we see in Bowling Green?
182 advanced players at the Bowling Green AM Championship for the advanced men. Taking down the championship was Jacob Sanders, shooting negative 37, which obviously doesn't mean a heck of a lot, but that was 1,013, 983, 982, and 981 it looks like. So he took down the championship by 7 strokes over Josh Henderson, Joel Bibble, Mike Johnson, Andrew Cornwell. So congratulations, Jacob. You're kicking some butt and taking some names.
And a quick follow-up to that, maybe in a week where it's a little less chaotic, we would love to catch up with Jacob. One of his friends reached out to us, and aside from just his friend reaching out, I think it's a good idea. We're going to see if we can focus on grabbing. We'd love to try and grab some of our larger amateur event winners. You know, we usually talk to like the US ADGC champion, AM World champions, and certainly sounds champion. Like Next Gen champion. So look for some of those in the future as well. But we'll try and reach out to Jacob probably in the next week or two.
A much smaller field was the advanced women, but taking that down was Ashley, I'm assuming, EH at the end, Bauman, shooting a +5, winning by 9 strokes over Vicky Palmer and Erica Stepish. So Ashley shot a 818, an 865, and a 925 rated round, and finished it up with a 894. So only 2 rounds below her rating, 2 rounds above her rating. Congratulations to Ashley.
And if you want to see her play, you know where you can go?
Where can we go, Terry?
You can go to the Disc Golf Guys footage of the 2017 United States Women's Disc Golf Championship. She played pro that particular weekend, and I think it was her first round that I had followed her and put out shot-by-shot action along with the rest of the women, not just her. That'd be weird, my part, so I did not do that. But congratulations, nice shooting. And like I said, I think there's some footage of her playing from last year when she was competing in the Open division at the U.S. Women's Championships.
That's awesome. So those are our 2 big division champions in that event. There's 1,000 other champions that amateur champions that event. I'm not going to get into them all, but congratulations to everybody who competed and played well.
Now, real quickly, as you pull it up, I'll spoil a little bit of action, and if you don't want to hear about the Rumble taking place over in the Quad Cities being the same place where we just saw AM Worlds happen this last year.
Did you run into any DJs while you were there?
All of the Quad City DJs. And I was like, come on, let's ride the train. Come and ride the train. Anyway.
Sorry, I couldn't help it. I'm sorry.
I figured. So I made it was a relatively impromptu visit to go over to the Quad Cities to cover the final round of action. The event was put on by Discraft, so hats off to them for being the title sponsor. Chase and the whole crew, everybody did a phenomenal job. Close to 300 competitors, I think, overall for the event. And so it was a quick in and out for me. I got there late Saturday night, headed out right away on Sunday. And I got the final card action that went down. It featured Adam Hammes, Jordan Castro, Alex Geisinger, and
Garrett
Gerthy, Double G. And it was awesome. It was awesome watching them play. It's a great course. It was a 24-hole layout, a little over 10,000 feet. And
a little bit.
It was almost to the minute, I think, 5 hours.
Ooh.
So it was a lengthy round. Again, 24 holes. And I've got some special stuff lined up in terms of editing that final round together and then having a co-commentator for it. So look for that. Probably not before this weekend, although it's almost always fully edited. But if not, I may wait till the GBO madness settles down, and that final round will get released at worst case next week sometime.
Awesome. I can't wait to see it. Can't wait to hear who you have behind the mic. Let's talk about champions of that event.
What?
Yeah.
Okay, let's do it.
Wisconsin native Adam Hammes taking down the event, shooting a 32 under par, beating Alex Geisinger by a single stroke. Hammes, many of you may remember him from being on the lead card at Worlds last year and playing very well. Not quite well enough to win, as we know, as Ricky took that one down, but still making quite a name for himself as one of the young guns on the course. So he shot a 1042, a 1039, and a 1022, all above his rating, so congratulations to Adam. Alex Geisinger, not quite able to make it, loses by one stroke. Joel Freeman who ended up shooting a 1038 final round, which was the hottest score of that particular third round, sorry. He ended up shooting a -28, and then Garrett Gerthy looked like he had you can call it rough. It was a 1016. It was the lowest of the four guys. He ended up shooting a -27 for the round. So Garrett took fourth, followed up by Nico Gibson, Terry Roethlisberger, and Jordan Castro.
Some sweet action. And then what did we see on the women's side?
On the women's side, taking home the event was Jessica Weiss, shooting a 4 over par, shooting a 933, a 961, and a 968. So even though that first round was a little bit below her rating, the other two kind of bumped herself up. Taking second place, Holly Finley, Lauren Butler, and then Sarah Gilpin.
You know what the best thing you can do on your birthday is? Well,
that's a
that
really
could be a loaded question.
That's a really open-ended question. I'm going to go with what you mean is win a tournament.
Yes. Sorry, our waitress was miming me something.
Yes.
Yes, Jessica Weiss celebrated her birthday on Sunday and won it. So congratulations to Jessica. That's awesome.
That is awesome. All right, let's move to my favorite part of the night, where I massacre some names. We're going to talk about the Remax Open, the ETP one, over in Finland. Once this thing pulls up, there we go. So taking down the Open, there were 101 players. Discmania sponsored, because I saw UC post it, that's all I know. Mikael Rasmussen. There's a couple umlauts on there, so I'm going to hope that got that right. He shot a 26 under par, beating Lucas Rokkanen by 2 strokes, Mikael Ham, and Timo Niskanen. So taking down some really big names. Yale was right down there as well. Albert Tam. Sorry if I'm massacring your name, but my tongue only works in English. So congratulations to the Open men. I'm going to quickly scroll down because I didn't get a chance to see if they were open. Yes, there were 13 Open women playing, and no surprise in this one. Henna Blomros takes this one down, shooting a 9 under par, beating her competition, Evelina Salonen, by 8 strokes. So congratulations to both those. Both those women are the it thing overseas right now. I think those are the two that are fighting back and forth for the championships in almost every Finnish event.
Well, congratulations, and like you said, probably not necessarily any surprise there with how dominant it seems that they are week in and week out. So congratulations. Anything else on the PDGA schedule? We'll talk also in a few moments. There's PDGA winners coming in yesterday and today and throughout the weekend from here in Emporia. There's some Flex Start C tiers. We'll talk about those in a minute. Anything else for, we'll say, traditional tournaments taking place over the weekend?
There's not. No other real traditional tournaments. We got a couple B tiers and smaller C tiers, but nothing really too important to talk about.
All right. Well, you're all important winners to us.
To me, yes. Even if I don't mention your name, think I love you.
Yes. Just know that.
But I was talking to some people here about the C tiers, the Flex Start C tiers that we're playing. You and I had discussed possibly playing in 1 or 2 of them this particular week. I heard that a one-round event at Jones West, which is a shorter course. It's not short, but it's shorter. 4 hours today. It was going slow. Everybody showed up this morning about 8 a.m., and they had a line out the door, so to speak, to play Jones West at 8 a.m., and people that showed up at 8 a.m., many of them didn't tee until 10:30, 11, just to get on the course, and those rounds were taking 4 hours. A gentleman told me he ordered pizza on the 3rd tee, picked it up on the 4th basket.
Wow.
True story. I just heard it out there at the putting green.
Wow.
It was definitely an event. These C tiers are a blast. These little flex starts are a blast to play, but show up early, pre-register. I did hear if you got there about 1:30, you could get right on the course, but your round was still taking 2.5 to 3.5 hours, depending on when you teed off. So.
And we're talking about, and you and I were looking at the pre-registrations yesterday, you're talking about 200, 250, 300-ish people pre-registered for some of these C tiers that are the one rounds, and it's just chaos. Everybody wants to play golf. Some people are playing courses that they've never played before. Some people are playing playing these rounds because that's their practice round anyway, and they wanted to do it in terms of a competitive format and to get the ratings for it. So there's just a lot of stuff going on, which is pretty awesome. And real quickly, on the board, I have to send another specific shout out. Andrew Clayson doing some work with me today. I put in a request for a little bit of help. He's been so gracious to me and to the Pro Tour and to others. So Andrew, I just want to send another quick shout out. Thank you so much for helping out today. I'm looking forward to implementing some of your adjustments and changes that you sent me today. So quick shout out.
That's great. I think that's all the PDGA events we need to talk about this particular weekend. So,
did you want to cover any of the C tier action that we saw yesterday?
Sure. Well, I'll cover the one that happened today because I just happened to have it open. Taking down a 300-person field, like the entire field was 296 people. Open 9 people. AJ Carey takes down the Open, wins $70, shoots an 11 under par, beating Seth Wood. These are a lot of people think these are nice little fun events to play. Put a little extra cash in your pocket or funny money depending on what you're doing. Open Women, Jennifer Wheeling takes this one down shooting a 4 under par, beating Aaron by 5 strokes. Pro Masters, Dominic Sawtell takes that down. Pro Masters 50, Tim Bear. Advanced had 37 players, but really where you look at the field and your eyes kind of bulge is when you start to get into the amateur event, like the amateur and intermediate. 85 intermediate players. Take me a while to scroll. 97 recreational players.
All right, who's our one-round winner of those two massive fields?
Okay, the recreational field, winning by a single stroke. Mitchell Rand.
Shooting what? I don't care about the score because it doesn't mean anything to me personally. What was the rating?
His rating right now is 893.
Okay.
He shot a 972, 80 points.
Congratulations.
He jumped. I imagine there was maybe one or two people calling bagger on him. That's my thought. But you know what? Sometimes it's your day's your day. He's got a rating. He played in the right division. He just played out of his mind. So congratulations. The 85-person intermediate field, the winner had a rating of 882.
Wow.
And shot a 983. So officially 101 points better than his rating, Nicholas Steed. So congratulations, Nicholas Steed, on taking down one of the bigger fields of the year.
Yeah, certainly. And Nicholas is okay with it being one round.
Oh, because he actually won, it looks like, in a tie with Heath Michael. So they both shot 8 under par.
Okay.
I'm assuming because he's higher up on the thing that he won. It doesn't say for sure as far as money, but I'm sure they got some wonderful DD funny money to cash in at the store.
If you didn't get at least $1,000, you go in there and you demand, say SmashBox said, I won $1,000.
Yeah. You have to go tonight, though. Yeah. You have to talk to the store tonight.
Yeah, do that. Make them pay you guys. Anything else jump out from today? Again, that was over at Jones West, correct? Is that what you were saying?
That was the Jones West. Do you want to talk about yesterday's Jones East?
We do. All
right. So yesterday's Jones East event was a little bit bigger open field. 37 players in the open field. The winner taking $122. Coda Hatfield So Coda's shooting a 49 and a 49 out on Jones East. Now Jones East is one of the rounds that the women are going to play this year.
Correct. Okay.
The men will not be playing. They're only playing the country club this year. So what we got is Coda shooting a 1041. He's got a 1,003 rating. So congratulations to Coda beating Henrique, who I saw earlier. Henrique took down a couple other the Flex C tiers. I thought, or no, maybe he was in the lead.
He was in the lead at one point on that one in particular. So,
all right. In the open women's field, we see Shannon Pendergast taking down that division, shooting 5 over par, tied with Ellen Widboom. They both took home the same prize money, so there might not have actually been a playoff.
Sure.
Or they split the money and, someone decided they were going to be the winner. But both of them shot a 900 rated round. That was about 30 points higher than Shannon's rating and about 10 points lower than Ellen's rating. So congratulations on the open women. Let's scroll down to some of those bigger fields. Well, we'll talk about the advanced real quick. Advanced had 44 players. Taking that one down is Casey Atkinson. I'm going to guess on that. It's ATCH, so it might be Atkinson. He particularly shot an 8 under, which is a 1,022 rated round. So congratulations to Casey. Let's scroll down a little bit further. We're going to get to another one of the big fields, intermediate. Winning the intermediate was Max Schuster. Max Schuster shot a 968 rating on his 883 rating. It's really funny. I'm looking at a lot of these player ratings. A lot of them are in the low 900s, maybe up to 930 in intermediate, just barely. It's the 880 rated players that are taking these down. I keep saying taking them down, but they're winning.
They're bringing it.
They're bringing it. They're bringing it hard. So let's talk about recreation, which had 86 players. Winning in the recreational field was Galen Adams. So congratulations, Galen. He's an 858 rated player. He shot a 938, so we got 80 points above his particular rating.
Wow, so some impressive golf out there. If you're going to bring the heat, bring it at a one-round flex start. Because one and done is all you need.
That's right. Go for the glory. All or nothing.
That's exactly it. Congratulations to everyone out there. Now, there are flex starts, just to be clear. There are flex starts still happening, I think, every day this week yet.
There are.
And there are some people that are crazy enough to say, hey, I'm going to go play a flex start in the morning, and then I play in the afternoon in the actual tournament. Nothing like doubling or tripling down here.
I might do that during one of our broadcast days.
I would do it during the broadcast.
You could be a remote.
Just let Bobby press buttons. He's like a media god.
He is.
Just be like, Bobby, just hit this button.
And let me tell you, we are going to be broadcasting tomorrow night. We're going to be broadcasting the players meeting, the Q&A. And I'm not sure about the meet the owners, which starts at I think 6:30. But we'll talk to somebody.
Sure.
Tune in for that. I have heard a couple rumblings about some big announcements.
What?
I cannot. I've been
SmashBox exclusives?
No.
Well, they're going to be.
They will be on our channel.
They'll be live.
But
so it will be exclusive.
I am absolutely sworn to secrecy on this.
Except for you telling me.
I told you. Bobby, I'm sorry.
We'll see how that goes.
He tickled it out of me, I swear to God. But tune in tomorrow for the players meeting. It is going to be worth your time. They've got a big announcement coming, so set your watches for that. Tomorrow at about 8 o'clock Central Time. 8 p.m. Central Time.
Okay, so just to be clear, tomorrow night, again, there's a players Q&A session, a pro panel, which has happened for the last couple of years. It's awesome. People have really enjoyed it, really gotten on board with it, and consumed it. It's such great information, such great access to a number of our players. So hats off to the DD crew for having that great idea, and then also letting us broadcast it live so everybody can watch it. And then same thing with the players meeting. Of course, they want everybody to come participate and be there and have this atmosphere of all these players together. But
I got to go. I got to talk to the gentleman who had to set up. I think he said 980 chairs.
Chairs, okay.
And then it's in an auditorium where it looks like they play basketball. So there's like a balcony area filled with chairs as well. He looked at me and he goes,
"They better show up."
He's like, "I'm gonna be really disappointed if at least 90% of these chairs aren't filled." He's like, "I spent hours lining these up and putting them," and so I said, "Well, we have 1,600 players in town. I figured there should be probably at least 1,100 to 1,200 of them at the players meeting." So I'm really hoping that this guy is not disappointed. And he's like, "Well, I think we'll probably get some maybe some casual people." I'm like, Maybe, but I think we'll be fine with filling up the 900 chairs.
Whoa.
That was me. I just bumped the table.
Yeah, all good. Well, again, we hope everyone's there, and if you're not, or if you want to be at home, or if you're at home and you just want to see what's going on, you'll be able to watch the players meeting and this pro Q&A session, pro panel. It should be good. So, looking forward to it.
What else do we have? I mean, we don't have a guest tonight.
We don't have anyone in
not a Skype guest. We're going to be bringing in Sarah Hokum in a little while.
And I see James Conrad in the corner, so when he's done eating...
Tackle him?
Sure. Trip him, push him, carry him.
I don't think that'd be nice.
No, but who says we're nice?
A lot of people here said we're nice.
No.
They shook our hand. They said thank you for doing what you do.
Buying us drinks.
Yeah, they clearly don't really know us.
No. Again, thank you, Ryan. He had bought the beverages. Everyone's giving me a hard time about what I'm drinking.
He bought them.
I'm not complaining. If somebody buys me a beverage, I will gladly oblige.
You are a horrible person if you turn down a free beverage. Come on. No matter what it is, whether it's what you normally drink or not.
I drink pine tar. I mean, it doesn't matter.
It's gross.
I mean, if it was gifted to me. No, okay, maybe not. All right. So, yeah, like I said, we'll talk to James, and then I think sooner than later, actually, we'll be able to get Sarah Hokum in here. As I was saying earlier, she's got a nifty little project up her sleeve, and hopefully she'll be able to share some of the details. We're going to try and assist her with this project. A few other people are as well, and I'm excited to see how that's going to unfold throughout the year.
Should I go grab Sarah Hokum?
Go ask her to join us is what I would do.
That's not what I asked.
you go get her. All right, so Johnny's going to run over there. I'm going to try and stay on top of the board and see what's going on. And Johnny, like I said, and while Johnny has stepped aside, it doesn't matter. I real quickly want to say the disc golf community very much lost a couple of really great gentlemen this week. There was a car accident that took place, I believe, on Friday. Pete Johnson, many of you know, huge supporter of disc golf, and just a delightful soul that you see all around the country, supporting in so many different ways and capacities. Himself, along with Matt Mayo out of Texas, and then Brendan Gingras, who I didn't know Brendan as well. I knew Matt a little bit. Of course, big hugs to everybody. We're glad that Pete, that you're safe and that you're okay, and I think you've been reunited with with one or more of your dogs, from what I could see. The outpouring on, and literally thousands of you have seen this on Facebook, the outpouring of support that's gone to Pete, but then also relative to Matt Mayo has been amazing. And again, everybody that talks about Matt has said the ray of sunshine and gentleness and kindness and smiling and positivity that he has. The few brief encounters I ever had with him, I experienced every one of those myself as well. And it's just, of course, it's really sad and unfortunate that a couple of really amazing souls have left us early. So, big SmashBoxx hug, big friendly hug, big disc golf guy, and Frisbee family hugs to anyone and everyone that had known those two gentlemen. And we hope that their spirit lives on and flies within us all. There's something to be said about that positivity, that vibe, and everything else that they brought to the table and surrounded themselves with. So, again, sorry that they're no longer with us, but they'll live with us forever. So, all right, I'm going to bring in Sarah Hokum. Sarah, hi. We're going to move you a little closer to the mic so everybody can hear you.
Nope.
Welcome to the show. I've teased everyone out a little bit, but I didn't want to give away your exclusive news. You're working on a project, and we're trying to help where we can. But you're working on a big project. Can you share it? A little bit. Give everyone a tease. I kind of promised them.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
oh, okay, cool. Well, you're always a tease, Taylor.
I am.
Oh, goodness. Well, so I work with the Women's Committee, which is led by our fearless leader, Valerie Jenkins. And we have a couple grants to do some videos centered on women in disc golf. So I'm trying to get interviews with all of the ladies who are here and talk to them and kind of get their perspective on disc golf and women and all sorts of fun questions. And we're going to release those over the course of the year and kind of push the sport a little bit on the women's side and give women a perspective that they maybe haven't heard yet.
Well, it's no secret that you are clearly one of the biggest advocates for women's disc golf. I know whenever I'm thinking about anything on the women's side, on the competitive side especially, you're one of the first people that I want to talk to about it, whether it's a potential rule change or some kind of arrangement or something along those lines. So I know you're very well researched on it and you're a huge advocate. What are some of the things within the women's committee that you guys arrived at as positive influences? Some of the things that you can do. I mean, this video project being one of them. How did you arrive at this video project specifically?
Well, we wanted to put women out into the forefront of the media, and a lot of people are doing a lot of great things, producing videos of the FPOs playing and incorporating that into the men's coverage and a lot of that. But a lot of people don't know many of the female pros. They know a few maybe, but they don't really know them at a more kind of intimate level. And so some of these questions are going to focus on some of that and highlighting all the top FPOs and getting people to just know who these people are. There's some great, amazing women that are making some great sacrifices to be a part of the sport, and we wanted to put that out there. And so that's one of the things, but then also providing content that is specific to kind of the struggles that women feel. Like feeling comfortable on a course, times when they don't feel comfortable, dealing with disc golf on your period, like that is an issue. And so we're going to release some stuff that is specific to things that women face and some struggles, and also all the great reasons that we play and enjoy each other's company, and why women in general should try to pick it up. So we just need more exposure, and this is just one way we can bring it.
Well, and we talk all the time about some of the obvious things that can be done, and one that continues to ring through and through for me, and I'll say it's easy, and I know there's some challenges to it, but one of the first things that anyone can do if you really want to support women's disc golf is advocate or sponsor or donate or whatever, arrange for some kind of restroom on a disc golf course, because not all of them have it. And as a male, me and other males somewhat take for granted, legally or otherwise, we take for granted not having access or not worrying as much about a porta potty, for instance. Mm-hmm. And I think that's something that's rung true through and through with you guys in talking to you and a few other women, is that having a porta potty or some kind of bathroom facility makes a disc golf course that much more inviting.
Oh yeah, the great potty parody, like I like to call it, is I mean, women don't like to have to pull their pants down and pee in the woods.
I get it.
Like, I don't know, that's all there is to it. Like, for some women it's not that big of a deal, like blah blah blah, like, oh yeah, it's not big, but I don't even like doing it, like I'll dehydrate myself and not drink any water on the course if I know there's not a bathroom, like, yeah, like, and that's not the right
Which
answer.
Is not a good solution either. So again, just the real quick plug out there is do whatever you can. And again, I've designed courses. I know how they can be remote or in different locations, but there are solutions out there, and I think that's a great opportunity for a club or a group of people that say, hey, I'd like to make a difference somewhere at my local course. Maybe paying for that, that porta potty rental for the year, or having a small committee of people that say, every time I go to this course, we're going to go in and make sure that the bathroom is actually usable, and replenished.
What does it even cost to rent a porta potty? I mean,
it can be expensive if you're just doing it for a weekend. I know that. You can be talking about a couple $100s sometimes, but I don't know. I'm sure they give a pretty significant discount when you're talking about a 3 or 6 or a 12-month situation.
It seems like something that the club would want to do for their members, or that the club could raise money for, or a specific course even.
Yeah. So anyway, enough potty talk, but that's just one thing that I can understand, though.
Along with supporting women's tournaments, running a women's league, maybe helping out the local women. Maybe pay some of her entry into the next big event that she was like, I don't know if I should, make that choice to play. Like, I'm tight on funds. I got to spend this on my family. Like, it makes a big difference for women. We're a little less. We're a little more financially frugal.
Well, yeah, and there's just a instinctive nature there, and then also we all know, and we don't have to, I don't have time to delve into every single challenge that the women have, because I know the mound is huge, and we're just trying to chip away at it. But knowing that the women more often are, when faced with, is it going to be the mom and the son at home, or is it going to be the dad and the son that stay home when there's a tournament going on? More often than not, it's fair or otherwise to say, or it's safe to say, it usually falls on the mom that stays home and doesn't compete in the event, and then the male does. So there's plenty of challenges.
Yep.
Okay. All right. So we're going to see this. You're working on these videos. You're working with interviews for people to get to know our women players. Is there a focus on just FPO, or is that where you're starting and then it's going to kind of expand?
Yeah, I mean, right now I'm starting with mostly FPOs, just for the sake of capturing the interviews. I am interviewing some other people too, getting some AM perspective, and there'll be a few others that aren't necessarily pros. But in general, just for the sake of capturing the interviews, I am focusing on the FPOs. Most of them have been in the sport quite a while. Good perspective.
And that makes perfect sense. And I think as you continue to grow and expand, you'll find there's more opportunities, and there's always going to be more people that you can talk to. We're here at the GBO, obviously, and it's a little bit of a chaotic week in a good sense. There's like 1,600 people here. There's flex starts. There's a ton of tournaments. There's demonstrations and clinics and block parties. What is it when you come to this event? Like, it's on your calendar, of course, but when you think of, oh yeah, the GBO is next week, or it's next month, or you're pulling into town, what are some of the thoughts that are going through your head about the GBO and what this week means to you?
This week in general, I would say the vibe is it's pretty cool to meet so many players that I've never met before. There's always so many excited players at this event, and they're all over town. So you see disc golfers at the grocery store, and you see disc golfers at the Mexican restaurant, and you basically see them everywhere you go. And nobody's from here, but they all you see disc golf T-shirts and disc golf hats, and you just know, you're like, you're here for the same reason I'm here for.
Yeah.
So it's kind of cool solidarity that you kind of experience in the town, and then also the town itself has like all these billboards up saying welcome disc golfers, and just all the different social activities. It's just kind of fun to just meet all these awesome, excited, new family members in this disc golf family.
Yeah,
so that's what I like.
One of my favorites is year after year driving by the marquees, whether it's at Dairy Queen, or it's at the bank, or it's at the church. It doesn't matter. There are probably more marquees and display boards in this city that say something related to GBO or disc golf than the ones that don't. And that is awesome. And if you walk downtown here, Commercial Street or wherever, a lot of the actual retail buildings and spaces will have stuff on the windows that say welcome GBO, and posters and flyers and good luck to the players.
Yeah.
How can you not get excited?
Totally. And guaranteed, when after my round Thursday, Friday, or Saturday, I'm going to go to a grocery store, I'm going to go to a coffee shop, and one of the people behind the counter, somebody working there, is going to ask me how my round went.
Yes.
And even if they don't play, they know what's going on. They can see what I'm wearing. I'm dressed in my disc golf tournament attire, and they're gonna ask and inquire about it. So it's pretty cool that the whole town knows about what's going on.
So one thing I would say though, as I'm sure you already realize, if you want to go incognito, you personally, you simply just have to show up not wearing disc golf attire. How many people, even someone on the board here, said, I was standing next to her and I didn't realize it? We see you as the disc golfer so frequently. We see you, adorned in your legacy and your Paragon and your game face and your golf attire. Is that how you can go under the radar? Is by not wearing golf attire?
I think that is I think that would actually work. I definitely let's see. I got a couple times today already, just in the brick house here tonight, the Brickyard here tonight, and then last night I was in a hot tub with like 3 other people, and then it wasn't until today that they were like they said something to me like, oh, I didn't know that was you, like. So yeah, it's cool. I mean, all these people are here to play, and they're really excited, and so I think it's kind of fun if they don't recognize me, and I just tag with them like, oh hey, what up, and then they find out later. It's kind of funny.
It's funny to see, and again, there's just so many people going on. What are maybe I'll rephrase that. Do you participate in any of the extracurriculars usually, or when you get to an event, are you pretty dialed in and focused on playing the golf and not necessarily some of the extra things going on? I mean, there's socializing, but do you participate in any of the other craziness that happens usually from time to time?
It depends on the week. I mean, this week I'm more likely to participate in the evening activities because we have later tea times.
Yeah.
Which, that's, I mean, it makes a difference. If I have to be up at 5:30 in the morning, I can't. I have to go to bed at 10. Like, yep. I can't stay up late. But, not teeing off till 2:30. Like, I can stay up until, midnight or so. So yeah, in that situation, I'm more likely. And then here, I'm more likely to, just because of the, like I said, the great community and all the different activities. In general, it depends, though. Sometimes it also kind of depends, maybe, on how well I shoot that day.
So you're saying that may influence your mood?
Yeah. If there's something if I'm having trouble getting over something that happened, I might not show my face socially.
Okay.
But nobody wants to talk to somebody who's all upset about their round. Like, it's cool. So, but I like to meet people and get out there and just to be social and yeah.
All right. So not that we're already looking past, but once this week comes and goes, what do we see on your near schedule following this week?
Well, I'm going to go down to the Nick Hyde, which is next week in the Dallas area.
Yep.
Matt Siri runs a great event there, and I'm doing a clinic there with Katrina Allen. So
nice.
Show up there. I think it's Thursday afternoon, so that'll be fun.
Okay.
Anybody in the Dallas area, come on out. And then I'm doing that Cali swing, that West Coast.
Okay,
so
yep.
we got Daisy Chains, one of my favorite women's events, the Masters Cup, followed by the San Francisco Open, and then another women's event. I'm doing 3 women's events in 3 months. I'm just super stoked about that. La Nina, put on by Chris Rodriguez, I believe.
Yep.
And that's in Seattle. Well, not Seattle, but it's in Washington.
Yep.
And then the Beaver State Fling after that. And then I'm going international.
Uh-oh.
Only to Canada, but
okay.
it counts.
It counts, yeah, absolutely.
If they let me across the border, we'll see. They're kind of sticklers.
Yeah, we're not going to, I won't ask.
I've made it like 3 times already, so I don't know. We're good.
Do they don't wave you through?
They just, you know what, honestly, because I drive my van around with all my stuff in it, they always question me about whether I'm just going to stay up there. Like, they're like, you're leaving, right? Like, they don't want to let me in because they think I'm just going to, like, go across the border and just, like, live up there. So that's usually my problem.
So they don't want people sneaking into Canada?
Well, they don't want you saying you're going to just go visit and then just stay there.
Huh.
So I think that's what their problem is. Because, I mean, I literally have, like, all my stuff with me. They're like...
That's true.
So they're like, well, is everything you own in your van with you, ma'am? Well, mostly. And then they're like, so how can we guarantee that you're going to leave? That's usually the question.
Wow. Okay, I guess that's a pretty fair question.
I don't know. I'm hoping one day they're just going to wave me through. Oh, it's you again. But we'll see.
Earlier today, tea times were announced. Did you take a look?
I did.
Okay.
Yes, I'm playing with. I think I'm playing with Lauren Butler.
Okay.
And Christy Moore, I think even, and then a woman I have not met yet. I think like Evangelina, something like that.
Okay. I was just going to pull it up so that we could talk a little bit about it. Not only about your card mates, but let's talk about this field.
Yeah, one of the biggest fields I'll play in all year. 40.
40. That's awesome.
And that was even capped. I bet if it wasn't capped, we could have got a few more.
Wow. I was going to go scroll through. Are there any names or individuals that aren't here that you would expect to be here in terms of our competitive women's field?
Maybe Ragna.
Okay.
I don't think she's here. I mean, and then, the only thing that would make the fields maybe a little bit better is if we had some of the international folks.
Sure.
Maya, she's got her rating is super high right now, and we aren't getting to see her in any of the big fields yet from Japan. And then there's a couple European ladies that are really shooting
Evelina
hot. Evelina, yep. Evelina, I think last time I talked to her, she wasn't going to be able to travel to the U.S. this year.
Okay, yep.
So it would be cool to have some more of those ladies. Otherwise, Stephanie Vincent, she's shooting really hot right now. A couple of the local pros that don't necessarily tour, it would be cool to see them, out here, like Becky Sonheim and,
sure.
A couple of the, Nicole Johnson, some of the West Coasters, Melody Bailey, Shauna Buzzingham. Some of those, it'd be cool to see them, but, still. I just named there's like 10 more people that could be here.
And it's an amazing field, as I just saw actually Katrina Allen walk in as well on the FPO side. 37 women is what it says, so there may have been a drop or two, but I know it was at 40. And then as I do a quick sort just by rating, we see, of course, Pierce, Val Jenkins, who we haven't seen much of this year, so it's great to have her here, of course. Yeah. Yourself, Katrina, Lisa Fakis, Jessica Weiss, who just won last weekend and celebrated her birthday, as we discussed. Jennifer Allen, of course. Nicole Bradley, Elaine King, who I don't think we typically see here at this event.
Yeah, totally.
So that's awesome to see Elaine King here. Zoe Andike, who hasn't been out as much. She's been working on her nonprofit, doing some other really good work. So awesome to see Zoe in town. Melody Weibel is here. Weibel. I was going to ask earlier. I wasn't sure if she was here, but I see she is. Vanessa Van Dyken, Madison Walker, Colleen Thompson. So
I guess we're missing Leslie Todd.
Yes, who
She's
I talked to on the phone
Coast
today, actually.
right now. Oh, nice.
So.
Yeah. So there, tons of talent.
There is. So that's awesome to see. Real quickly, I would love to. Just rewind a couple of days. You were battling it out with one Paige Pierce, were you not? I saw.
Yeah, just the first time we've done that, but
this weekend I was watching on Saturday night. I took a look at the scores around the country at a few different events. You guys were at the Texas Women's Championships.
Yep. Yeah.
And I saw you two tied after 2 rounds on Saturday, and I think you were tied at like 7 under par. Does that ring a bell?
Yep.
How did things shake out? Ultimately, because it was so close.
She got like 3 more birdies than me.
Well, that's not fair.
I honestly, the course did not play to my strengths.
Okay.
So the fact that I was even close to her at the end, man, I was actually pretty happy. I threw 30%, a third of the course backhand off the tee. And,
wow.
Right? Yeah. So, I was out of my comfort zone a lot, and, I figured out I executed about 65% off the tee. And it ended up the irony here is in the end, it ended up costing me 3 strokes. Like, as far as birdies to bogey ratio, the 65% execution cost me the 3 strokes it was going to take to...
The difference maker.
Yeah. But, it's a process.
Yeah.
Baby steps, and I'm making them, and they just, I can't just randomly put it all together in one weekend. So I'm happy. As much as I'm sick of being the bridesmaid, I'm playing good. I feel good. I'm learning. I'm getting better. I can't ask for much more than that.
No.
Technically she should beat me by 10 strokes per tournament.
Yeah. And of course, not to diminish any of your growth and your development and your continued great play. What do you see in Paige right now that makes her seemingly so tough to beat? Like, what is she executing everything? Does she not make mistakes? Do you feel like it's her mental game or her shot selection?
It's all of the above, but in general, she just has a very well-rounded game. She's very good. Her execution rates are high. She has a lot of range and a lot of different skills. There's nothing that she sucks at,
Okay.
You know, I mean, her sidearms, she even threw a couple of really good sidearms this last weekend off the tee, like hard sidearms. You know, they came out really nice and crisp. You know, she got a birdie off of one of them, a tough hole, you know. So, you know, I mean, even though she doesn't utilize her sidearm as often as I do, obviously, or even other more 50-50 players, she's coming around with that too. You know, so she's still got another gear in her wheelhouse there. So, you know, I mean, she's just confident and she throws super far and she has a great short game, you know, so that's a winning combination.
Yeah, and we see that on any given weekend, it's very competitive. It just seems like sometimes you said there's we see her kick into that extra gear, and that might be the difference maker. I mean, you guys were tied through Saturday's action. Sunday it comes down to just 3 strokes, and I'm sure you can think of 1 or 2 holes where that entirely was the difference, and this time she came out on top. So, but it's great to see these battles, because I think we know on any given weekend it's going to be a tight race, and it's just a matter of who's going to finish it off at the end. And I don't know, I feel like you can flip a coin because anything could happen on any given weekend.
Yeah, and you know, I mean, she's going to keep playing good, you know, I mean, I have no doubt about that. And I mean, honestly, if you look at the technical side of the sport, you know, I mean, she's got to have an off weekend for any of us to really beat her.
Yeah.
You know, but, you know, we're there, you know,
Exactly.
And if she does, we will, you know, so.
Somebody has to be there and ready to take advantage of her off weekend as well. I mean, because we all know she's not going to hand over anything.
Yeah.
And whether it's you that's right there, or a Val or a Kat or whomever, somebody's going to be right there and needs to be ready and say, hey, I'm going to seize this opportunity. I need to not worry about what she's doing, and I need to take advantage of this and get past her as well.
Yeah, and I mean, clearly she scores better than any of us on the courses. You know, she puts herself in more positions to do so. She makes bigger putts than anybody. You know, I mean, some people will say, oh, she's unbeatable. You know, I'm sure she's going to lose this year. She's not going to go undefeated. You know, but it's going to take an off week, and everybody has those. So it's just a matter of when that happens and who's going to be there to
jump
take
on
advantage.
it.
And not that I'm ever like hoping that. You know, I mean, of course, I want to increase my skill level to the point where we're battling stroke for stroke, and it really is a flip of the coin.
Sure.
You know, but that doesn't happen overnight. And you know, I'm keep trying to get better, and I'm gonna,
of course.
And as anything, you know, like my life is not defined by my wins, and you know, I like the process of increasing my skills and being a part of this community. You know, no matter whether I get second or 10th or first or whatever.
Exactly, and I know some people are getting all worked up on the board because I'm trying to discuss where the women's game is at, but I think there's no better person to talk to about it than yourself, because you're right there every weekend in the thick of things. And I don't know, I love hearing your perspective. I mean, we talk to Paige, everybody talks to Paige and knows what's going on. You see her do well, but getting the entire perspective, what everybody else is trying to do as well. It's not her winning combination, everybody's got a game plan, and so I love seeing it unfold. I think that's one of the misconceptions sometimes with the, I don't know if it's necessarily the trolling community, but it's certainly like the online community. One of the things that a lot of people don't really understand, like they'll talk about how nobody's giving her competition, and you know, like you know, it's just a joke out there, and just Paige is just beating everybody like so bad all the time. She's ruining the sport. Yeah, and she needs to be kicked out of the division. And that is like the biggest bunch of BS I've ever heard in my life. Like that is not what's happening. Like Paige is shooting great golf, but the fact that any of us are even close to her means we're shooting really good golf too. Yeah. And the women out here, it's super competitive now. I mean, you've got like, you know, 8 to 10 women on tour right now, and everybody's good. When I play a tournament, when there's only 15 of us and 10 of us are on tour, man, I'm hoping to make that cash, you know, because it's competitive. It's way more competitive than, you know, like, I mean, sometimes the women's field is made up of 60, 70% touring players. Could you imagine that on the men's side? No. Right. I mean, right now there are you know, a dozen or so, maybe 20 touring pros, but then you go to a field of 110 or 130 men, and the cutthroat people, might be those 10 or 15 or 20 that are on tour, but your percentages are that much smaller. So you're saying it's even maybe a little bit more intense in some ways?
It's way more intense. Yeah, I mean, if you think about, the top men, yes, there's a ton of men vying for those top positions, but there's also, most of them aren't dedicating their lives to touring. You're at 20, 30% maybe in the field. At max, 40% touring, if that. That's a huge number. And that's basically the payout cut. But with women, with us having, 50 or 60% of the field is touring, that means that 20% of the field isn't cashing. And when you miss cash on tour, man, it is a sad day.
Yeah.
Like you're literally like going to find the closest course near you and sitting there until you can sell enough discs to pay your gas to get up the road.
The struggle is real, I think they say.
And it's straight up. Like if you miss a cash 2 weeks in a row, oh man, you might need to go home. 3 weeks in a row, oh man, you got a new career.
Back it up.
4 weeks in a row, you're crying to mommy. Like it is no joke. And so like that just makes the women's field so cutthroat, and it just is another reason why a lot of women don't jump into the touring lifestyle. We just don't have those fields to play in that guarantee that if you play well, you're going to cash. I mean, I can play well and not cash in our fields.
Sure. No, I think about a field where sometimes you could play really well, but there might be only 6 of you, 5 of you are on the tour, and that means 3 of you or 4 of you aren't cashing, and you could play above your rating all weekend.
Oh yeah, so and you're paying a couple $100s to play the event. Plus the several hundred to stay in the town, eat for the week, gas there to and from. It's just a losing equation. And that's one thing. That's why I really encourage the local women to play, and for leagues and club directors and people to sponsor their local girl to play. If she doesn't want to play because she thinks she's going to get smashed by the tour girls, pay her entry. I bet she'll play.
Yeah, well, lots of things we can do to encourage women participation, and I'm looking forward to this video project that you're working on, and looking forward to seeing you more all over the country the rest of the year, huh?
Yeah, I mean, we're just getting started, and it's already a super exciting year.
It's crazy.
So, I think, oh, wow, I feel like it's been so long already, and it's only April.
It's only April. All right, Sarah, anything you'd like to say, whether it's to everyone or thank anyone or shout-outs, anything you want to do, say, or give out there?
I just want to shout out to Legacy and Paragon for supporting me all these years, and also to the ladies that play, just keep doing it, man. I love seeing you out there.
All right, well, that's Sarah Holcomb, our 2012 Women's World Champion.
So long ago.
This year could be.
All right. Oh, I love those courses up there in VT.
Okay. Woo. Well, again, Sarah Holcomb, thank you for joining us. And go get lost in the crowd so people don't recognize you or something, and then you can hide out.
Go play some stealth, Sarah.
There you go. All right. Well, thank you for joining us. Have a good night. See ya. All right. If you run into James Conrad around, would you mind just throwing him over here, please? I know I saw James a moment ago. I saw him finish his dinner. So hopefully, and if she finds him, great, we'd love to have him. If not, we will figure out something else to do or someone else to talk to. But thank you guys for joining in here on the board. I'm trying to kind of keep up. I know the board can get all worked up. There's lots of different opinions out there. I appreciate you guys sharing those opinions. And Jay on the board had asked, did you film the Rumble tournament, Jay? I talked about it earlier in the show. In a very impromptu, last-moment decision somewhat, I was able to run over to the Quad Cities and get the final round of the Rumble and how it went down over there, presented by Discraft, and I was glad to do so. Working on a special guest commentator for that. The video is almost entirely edited, and now it's just a matter of the commentary track, and we'll probably get that out a few days after the GBO Chaos. And we're going to have Mr. James Conrad just throw those on. Sure. And nice and close to the mic. You can probably hopefully hear me. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Terry.
James Conrad joining us. James, well overdue. You perform well. You win, these events. And then I always think, I reached out to Paige Pierce once last year, and I've reached out to others. And Paige kind of laughed. I said, is there any, you think, because I think you were traveling nearby at the time with her. And I said, do you think James is around for maybe a Skype interview? And she's like, James is like camping, and I'm like, oh, he's like living life, and and not worried about silly things like social media and podcasts, but long overdue. So great to have you, buddy.
Yeah, glad to be here. It's definitely hasn't been one of my biggest priorities to stay as up to date as I would like to, but it's kind of hard when like you said, I'm camping out a lot. I'm doing whatever I'm after.
And I want to be crystal clear. I don't, unfortunately that's as tall as it gets.
Okay.
I don't at all second guess or begrudge your life of not getting caught up in some of this chaos. I think it's awesome. Are you one of the most in tune with nature and enjoying the wilderness and the nature out on the tour? I mean, you're camping, you're sleeping in hammocks. Are you kind of the most natural guy we got out there? Is that a weird question?
I don't know if I would consider myself the most natural guy, but it's definitely a priority of mine. I've been on the road for coming up on 2 years, pretty much straight now, and I've spent my time in hotels. I've spent my time in Airbnbs. I've had plenty of wonderful people host me at tournaments, but nothing to me beats the camp life. To be honest, being able to wake up right on the bank of a river, having my hammock set up, having a fire at night with my friends, it beats the hotel life tenfold. And
it does, and there's a certain piece, and I remember when I used to travel and play a lot more many years ago, and camping was a priority to us. Where could we go? We wanted to keep it economical, but we also just wanted to enjoy that lifestyle, and now I need to plug like 300 gadgets in every night, so it makes it hotels and Airbnbs are a little bit higher of a priority. What are some of the things you look forward to most when you're traveling outside of the Gulf? What are some of the things that you really look for?
It can always be awesome to check out new areas that I haven't seen before in this country. I mean, we have so much area that a lot of people have never been to. Just this past week, I was down with some friends in the northwest part of Arkansas at the Buffalo National River, and it was just gorgeous down there. You can just see how untouched it is. So when there's time to fit in little getaways like that, little recovery periods, just take it easy and see what this country and what the planet has for us. It's definitely refreshing. It makes it less of a grind. It makes it worth being out here, to be true.
Yeah. Now, are you a sightseer, a hiker? Like, what are some of the outdoor experiences that get you the most excited?
A little bit of everything. Been enjoying the water a lot when I can, especially when the weather's warm enough. Like lakes and rivers have really been calling my name lately. We've had a couple awesome hikes this year with some friends, and those have been good too. But just, I guess no one in particular, just
Sure.
Whatever is available.
Anything and everything. So let's talk a little bit about your golf this season.
Sure.
What have you experienced? I think we're at the second PDGA National Tour. We're through 3 Disc Golf Pro Tours. Those are those 5 are kind of the biggest things on the map. What's your golf game been like so far this year for you?
For me, it's been a little bit up and down. I've been really happy with some of my play this year. I've had some of the hottest rounds that I can remember. A couple of my highest rated rounds ever have already come this year, which is always fun to really connect, to really get that focused out in for an entire round. And those have definitely been a good confidence builder. Just made me feel happy about where my game is and about my prospects. And then I've also struggled some rounds. I've had some times where I was not able to keep that focus the whole round. I guess one of the biggest positives, though, is even when I'm not playing great, it feels like about 70 to 90% of the round I am playing great, and then I'm just not able to quite finish it out, or maybe I start slow and then kill it on the way out of the round. So even my rounds that I haven't been pleased with have still had some highlights and still been confidence builders.
So what I take away from that is, and you may not say it, I'll say it, that means you're good. And what I say by that is, when you may not feel like you're playing to your full potential, but you're still cashing, you're still finishing well, you're not on at 100%, but you're still able to have those top finishes and overall have a good performance, I think that just means you're in a really good place, that you're good, and that you're continuing to improve. And Not that you want to rest on that, but
Right.
that's a really good feeling, because a lot of people have to play lights out all 3 rounds to sniff a cash line, and you sometimes can be a little off, and you're still going to find yourself on that good side. So that's got to
Thank
feel
you.
really good.
Yeah, it does feel great. I'm thankful for that I'm out here, even if I feel like I'm struggling a little bit, that I'm still playing well, by most people's standards.
Exactly. We talk all the time about how good you are in the woods, how you like throwing your putter, and you throw really great controlled shots with distance. Is there a style of course, or maybe even, I'll follow that up and say, is there a course thus far this year that really stands out for you as like, hey, I really love competing on that course? Is there anything that everybody might have seen or heard about thus far this year up into this point where you're like, yeah, that course is one of my favorites to attack?
I think Waco was one of my favorites. It might be a little bit just because it was one of my breakout tournaments last season, so I think those extra feelings, those emotional boosts, like, definitely influenced my overall opinion of the course. But with that aside, I still really enjoy that course. It's got a little bit of some power shots, some opportunities to really score well, and then it's also got the really technical, like punishing technical,
Yeah.
where if you're off a little bit, you can be looking at a bogey, or worse, easily. No scrambling for birdies or anything like that.
No. I think of the very first wooded hole that we see, hole number 10 out there.
Absolutely.
Very narrow fairway, kind of serpentines, as a par 4. And you get off the fairway by 10 feet, and you might be just pitching out and exhausting a stroke that way.
Exactly, yeah.
So I know exactly how you feel. Country Club, very different from what you just talked about.
Very
We're
different,
playing
yeah.
all 3 rounds here this year at the Country Club. I'm the first to admit it. Sometimes you think of ball golf courses that have been converted, and you think long and maybe boring. There's a significant amount of OB out here that keeps you in check. What's your game plan?
There really is a lot of OB. This course has a fair amount of holes where the tee shot is going to be similar, so that's where maybe a little bit of a tediousness aspect might come into play, but there's enough trouble out there, there's enough OB that you really can't let that focus slip. I think it's a very well designed course, and I'm happy with the change they made regarding the order of the holes. I've yet to see it in competition, but I feel like it should flow a little better than it did.
Sure.
As far as my game plan, I'm going to try to keep it in the middle. I don't think I'm going to be attacking as hard as I possibly could. I don't think that would be the smartest way to go about this course. I think I've, learned over the past year and a half, past couple years playing a lot of courses of this style, that it's a balancing act. You can't play too soft. You can't try to lay everything up, because then you'll just not be anywhere near the top guys. You'll never have a chance. But you can't blindly attack everything either. You got to find that balance where you're comfortable, and
Okay.
I'm feeling good about that this weekend.
And one of the things that you just referenced was they've changed up about 6 of the holes out here. We've seen some drastic changes and some minor ones, but one of them is, instead of starting kind of on the platform right behind where the Country Club clubhouse is, we're starting on what it used to be hole like 5 or 6, and they kind of combined a couple of holes to make the very first hole of the round 1,125 feet.
Yeah, it's a monster. It's the 2 holes we used to play, maybe plus a little bit even. I'm not sure. It's a long one.
It certainly is, and right now it looks like they're. I'm hearing a little bit of announcements. We might stand down for just a moment. I know some of the things that they've been talking about. Again, live fantasy disc golf picks are taking place down here, so this is specific. You, of course, can participate on skipace.com for all of your fantasy picks. Go out and do that as you normally would, but there's a separate live on-site fantasy league taking place, and you can only participate if you're here. And there's free prizes that will be given away, which is really exciting. That's going on. And then I know there's a bunch of other games being played. There's pool and darts, and I think there's a video game challenge, and lots of putting out in the back. So lots of stuff going on here at the Brickyard. So a little bit of change in the course. How do you feel about a single course for the event. It's just one course here at the country club. Is there a sweet spot of number of courses, 1, 2, or 3 on any given event?
I've always enjoyed having a tournament on one course. I think it's a great aspect of like a test of skill. You know, it might not be the most variety, but there's other tournaments to provide that variety. You know, you have one course and you have 3 or 4 cracks at it. I think we have 3 this weekend, and if someone can start hot and then match it on Saturday, or match it on Friday and then match it on Saturday, you know, they deserve it. It's hard to shoot a really good opening round and then follow it up on the same track 2 more times. And also it can be fun to maybe start, if you don't have the round you're hoping for on day 1, you know where you can improve. I've always enjoyed one course tournaments. It is a shame to not be able to see Jones East and see some of the other courses that Emporia has, because they do have a lot of good ones. But
yeah, they do. And on the women's side, conversely, we're seeing 3 different courses over their 3 rounds. They're going to play one out at Swope, which is in Cottonwood Falls, not the Swope that you're familiar with from Kansas City possibly. So Cottonwood Falls, there's a course, Peter Pan for one of the rounds, and then Jones East for another round. So on the women's side, very different approach possibly. They get one shot at each course, and then that's it.
Yeah, that's a big difference. I find that to be more challenging. It's more to focus on your lead up during this week. They're jumping around course to course to course. You know, as in the MPO field, we've been able to maybe take our time a little bit more and maybe play 9 holes like with a bunch of shots, or play 18 with only 1 shot per hole, and not be worried that you're not getting in enough practice shots to be comfortable.
Yeah, definitely a different mentality. Earlier, for instance, I was talking to Jessica Weiss and Double G, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm good. I just have to worry about 1." And Jessica's,
right,
jumping around just like you said. All right, so because I haven't asked you a lot of, we'll say, relatively random questions, I'm going to think of a few just off the top of my head, and
right,
some came in from the board, maybe even almost rapid fire. What did you just have to eat over there?
I had a calzone, spinach, and mushroom and sausage.
All right, what'd you think of it?
It was very good. Hit the spot.
They were very good. I had a calzone as well. I love this place. I'm going to give the slight bump to Euro Pizza over at the Memorial.
Okay,
that's pretty good, right off hole 18.
I haven't hit that yet. I'll check it out next year.
You need to. But very good here. I loved it. It was good. Johnny had one as well. Beverage of choice. What?
I've been drinking the Boulevard unfiltered wheat. I had 1 or 2 of those tonight. I generally go for IPAs, but they've been about tapped out here. I think we're with a couple thousand disc golfers in town. They can't keep up.
We got to get on that Doss Jenkins on their case here and tell them to get some more made.
Oh yeah.
And can I assume that might be something you'll partake in this year when the what is it, the Slight Headwind 2 maybe? I think by the Bevel collaboration.
Yeah, I tried it last night. I think they untapped it at Radius. It was very good. I was very impressed.
Okay. Did you have it last year too here or no? Their release?
I didn't catch the one here last year, I don't think.
Okay. All right, so we got those 2 covered. Somebody said, what was on your shirt? I didn't. Element Disc, that's one of your sponsors, correct?
Yeah, they hooked me up with some gear this winter.
Okay. You want to give them a shout out? Well, sounds like you just did. Other sponsor, you're wearing a sweatshirt. Innova, of course, your primary disc sponsor. You want to give a shout out or talk anything? Is there an Innova fundraiser disc we can even pick up to support you, I believe?
It hasn't.
Or one in the works?
Yeah, there should be one in the works.
This is the official petition right here, starting now.
All right. But yeah, I definitely appreciate the support from Innova. Give me all the greatest frisbees. You know, I've been throwing them forever, and they work for me. So
they work
for
him. Awesome. What else did I see on the board? Oh, band. Favorite band?
Ooh, that's a tough one. I've been on a funk kick lately. I don't have one particular standing in mind, but picking a favorite anything has always been tough for me. I don't know. I'm too indecisive. But
give us top 3 if you the last 3 you had played maybe.
Okay, I'd say I've been digging some Everlast for a long time. Red Hot Chili Peppers are always a staple. We were grooving on this guy last night. Ebo Taylor is this like kind of African global funk vibe. It was really good. I'll just throw that in there.
Okay, that works for me. I've seen a little bit of your juggling skills. What other, so juggling is clearly one that you're well versed in. Any other special skills that people should know about? Besides throwing frisbees really well, handling nature like a 1080 nature lover, juggling.
I've
what
got
else?
a few other kind of circus-like talents. I haven't ridden one in a while, but I'm pretty competent on a unicycle. I can different little balancing tricks, stuff like that. I've always been good. Really, anything hand-eye coordination comes pretty naturally to me, and the converse of that is like feet coordination is not natural to me. Like I can't really hacky sack with the darn or play soccer or anything like that.
Really? Okay. And my follow-up was going to be with one of your good buddies we see out on the tour, Peter McBride. My follow-up was going to naturally be then slacklining. Is that
the slackline? I haven't put in enough time. I can get a few steps on it, but I can't be up on the slackline juggling or anything.
Oh, not yet. Okay.
Not yet.
I'm sure you'll get there. What last time you got your hair cut? Like really cut?
It's been a good while. I'd say when I was 18, I still had short hair, and I'm coming up on 28 this maybe next week or sometime soon.
Okay.
So about 10 years.
Okay. Next time you're going to get your hair really cut?
To be determined.
No,
I don't know.
No plans.
No plans.
Okay.
Really.
All right.
It's kind of stalled out at this length. I think it just stays how long it is now.
Okay. Who do we most often see you with on the tour? And I know, again, you're taking all these places, but if I came across your campsite in a month, who most likely would be sitting around a campfire with you?
Been traveling this last couple months with Weston Isaac, so he's the first. It's been a lot of fun traveling with him. Been getting a lot of good camping in, like you were saying, and yeah, we get along really well. Then we've been hanging out with Peter McBride a lot.
Yep.
Nate Perkins and Alyssa have been regulars around the campfire. A bunch of others been
Here and there.
here and there. Yeah.
Sure.
Those have been some of the most regulars, though, for sure.
What excites you most about the future of disc golf? And that can be personal in terms of where you see yourself going, or the sport, or a manufacturer, or anything. It's a pretty open-ended question, but what excites you the most about the future of disc golf?
I think on a personal level, I'm excited by the fact that I feel like I should be able to support myself, for the rest of my life, if I play my cards right, and related to disc golf, competing for a while and then branching out from there. And it's my favorite thing in the world, so to be able to be out here doing what I love, it's the best thing about disc golf to me. And then as far as the sport in general, I just think it's really catching on. More and more people are familiar with it, more and more people are watching it. We have so many great media guys out here that is really providing it to the masses. Like I've been getting stopped a lot out here in Emporia. People recognize me, people ask me for autographs, and I love it, I appreciate it, and it really wouldn't be the case if there weren't people out here filming and people out here providing this info about us, especially people like me that don't really post a lot on the social media pages.
Yeah. Well, and it's great for any of us to see such enthusiasm and newcomers. I mean, I think it's fair to say we really kind of got to know and love you once the Pro Tour kicked off a couple years ago. It seems like you committed fully to that, and then from there you played really well, and then whether people were expecting it or not, you were on their TV screens all the time.
Right. Yeah,
and that to me, I think on your behalf, I think is just really exciting to see that. It just kind of, I don't want to say it happened, your hard work made it happen, but it just unfolded in that sense, and it was very natural.
Absolutely, yeah. I'm grateful for it, for sure. It's definitely been becoming more and more legitimate. It's getting out there, and it's great. I think for the most part, there's obviously some drawbacks here and there, but some growing pains, if you will, but it's definitely, I feel like, headed in a great direction.
So you've got plenty of great years of golf ahead of you. There's no doubt about that. But what do you see yourself in the, I'll say, the disc golf afterlife? If you're, you may be competing many years from now in a Masters or a GM field when you're 50 or 60 or whatever. But at a certain point, playing week in and week out probably won't be your exclusive life. What do you see yourself, maybe that's 20, 30, 40 years from now, what kinds of things do you see yourself being involved with in disc golf?
It's hard for me to say. I've never been the best at planning ahead, or especially far ahead. Makes it hard to really. I mean, I have no idea what the state of disc golf will be in 20 years, and so it's hard for me to say what I'll be doing within it. I'd definitely like to branch out a little bit more in the near future and the distant future as well. More growth of the sport, more possibly more in the lines of lessons or like coaching, something like that. I think could be cool. I think that I think there's a lot of business options out there that are related enough to the sport, and I don't think there'd be a better resume than being a touring pro for however many years I can make it work.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. And we see so many people that are either really actively involved in the sport or maybe slowing down a little bit in the sport. I think of a Nate and a Val. They've absolutely. It's not an exit strategy, but they're thinking about what's next for them, thinking about the brewery, for instance, and things of that nature. And we've seen obviously the likes of Nate Sexton, who's gotten really comfortable with his teaching and his commentating, and we see all of these. I think we're seeing more of these personalities somewhat unfold, and that may line them to where they're going to go next. And well, you got a lot of good play ahead of you first before you have to worry about that. But, anything you'd like to say? These guys are giving me a hard time saying I've kept you too long, because everybody knows more than I do when it comes to interviewing, I guess. Anything you wanna tell everybody out there?
I want to tell y'all thanks for tuning in, and thanks to everyone that's a fan. I definitely appreciate y'all tuning in, y'all watching me play, cheering for me. It's really awesome. And thanks, Danova.
All right.
Thanks, Terry.
As always, man, I love watching you play. We love filming you. We love having you out here. Long overdue, but I'm guessing with your continued successes, we're going to be continuing to talk to you more and more, and we wish you the best of luck out there.
Awesome. Sounds good.
All right. Take care, pal. Thanks.
Yep.
All right. Again, James Conrad getting a little love as soon as he steps out of the SmashBoxx here, so to speak. I think Johnny V is going to probably rejoin me here in a few moments. Actually, looks like we may or may not have a Latitude 64 owner possibly join us in a little while. Johnny?
I'm going to come back for a little bit.
All right, what are you seeing out there? Dad's drunk and
have you blocked anybody?
Not yet. I'm getting close.
Whenever you talk about Dad's drunk, Darren, you never know.
He's always telling me how I got to run the show here.
All right. So you had on Sarah Hokum.
Yes.
And then James Conrad finally.
Yes. Long overdue.
Yep. And I believe that David, right?
Dave Berglund.
Dave Berglund from Latitude. So we're excited about that. What did I see out there? I've seen Eric Oakley out there. I saw Tina Stenitis out there.
Yep.
I saw a lot of Street Fighter.
The game, I hope.
True. I finally lost. I went 2-1 with the character Ken. I lost one.
What is your Street Fighter rating? If you had to rate yourself, how good do you think you are in Street Fighter?
I'm a 1,000 rated Street Fighter player.
Wow.
Sure. I'm not like 1050 like a Macbeth, but you put me on a good system. And I'll say this, it was a little goofy for everybody, because anyone that knows Street Fighter or any video game, imagine playing a video game where all the buttons are in the wrong spot. Because the guy who set it up, he mapped the buttons on his arcade machine differently, so we all had to practice for a game and then learn where the new buttons are.
So he mapped them to his liking?
I don't exactly know, because when you build an arcade machine, you build it with a lot of extra buttons for whatever game you want to play. And the way he had it laid out was, old school Street Fighter players know it's the top 3 are punch and the bottom 3 are kick. Well, they go vertical instead of horizontal. So it threw everybody off. So everybody played a practice game to get used to it, and it was just off. And so I won my first 2 matches, and then I finally lost my 3rd match against the guy I beat the first round, who went back through apparently a loser's bracket. I don't know. I wasn't in the losers bracket. I don't know how that works. No, I'm like 1,000 rated, I would say. I'm pretty good. And it's been quite a few years since I've touched the machine, but it was a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to it. Maybe going to throw down some Tetris later. Not sure. We'll see.
Okay.
So what did you learn here?
I gave James a little rapid fire, actually, on some questions I normally wouldn't get into, but we so rarely have talked to him.
No, that's
that
great.
you know, everything from what he was drinking over there. He had a calzone. We talked a little bit about some of his other skills besides juggling. We talked about course styles.
Does he ride a unicycle?
Funny you say that, because as you could imagine, he said he hasn't been on one in a while, but I'm guessing it would take about 10 seconds for him to get back up to speed.
Probably.
He's talented like that. So we had a little bit of that conversation. Kind of ran through some of his supporters and sponsors. He flat out said, you know, I'm not a big social media guy, and he enjoys nature, and we talked about that. But he said that he really likes where media in general is going, because
awesome.
we're putting all of these players out there so that stars like him can be born or recognized, I think is a better way to put it. That's what we learned from him. So, and then I'm trying to...
I see Zach Melton over there. I see... Should we try to get... Oh, no, I want David next, because I feel bad if someone else was here before David.
Yeah.
I promised that Dave would get on here. And then I said after Sarah, and then I also told James after Sarah, and I just figured, well, one of them will jump on and the other will be fine. So.
No, it's great. And just so everyone's clear, the format throughout the week is going to be very much shuffle people in, have a conversation, shuffle them out. They may be leading, they might be in last place.
I see Jeremy Rusko waving. I know.
There's going to be a good mixture. Get Jeremy about 16 more beers deep, and then we get him on.
Oh, for sure. Because the announcement that they make at the players' meeting, he might make tonight if he gets drunk enough.
Okay.
I'm just saying. And Jeremy is the best to interview. He always shows up at our bar podcast.
Yeah,
we could go to a church and have a podcast. Jeremy's not there, but we go to a bar. Rusko's all over that.
Well, I'm sure we'll be talking to him at some point this week as well. So. And again, I know some people are calling out saying, oh, get so-and-so in here. Some people are here, some people aren't. We'll just keep kind of cycling people through as we find them, and if they're near enough to us, we'll make it happen.
Oh, most certainly. So what else? What else we got going on right now?
Another quick shout out, Mr. Wallace, Wilbur Wallace, bought me a beverage. I appreciate that. Thank you, kind sir.
Very nice, Wilbur.
Everybody's getting all worked up about what I drink. As I said, I drink what's brought to me. I'll take it.
I was over there looking to see if you had anything, and you had quite a few stacked up. I'm like, I'm sure one of them has something in it.
I think that means I need to do it quicker is what I need to do.
More than likely.
All right, checking in on the board. I think the Disc Golf Pro Tour may have leaked it into SmashBoxx. I don't know.
May have leaked into SmashBoxx. What
Chat may have leaked into.
Oh, that could be.
Anyway.
Wes Warren, thank you for the super chat. I see it's probably a little while ago, but I'm here. I was here talking with Webb Warren.
Yes.
So your name doppelganger, who he told us not to get confused with him. So we got Wes and Webb Warren, no relation.
Alex Heimberger on the board said, how good is NT set up for spectating? Might make it out to the final round and the block party.
This event is great.
Yeah, you'd be crazy not to find yourself here. If you're within a drivable distance, the country club, the Emporia Country Club for the men's side is awesome. Come out and check it out. If you don't want to do that, you can go check out the women's final round, also great for spectating. And then the block party is amazing here. Lots of good stuff going on. So please,
what is driving distance to you? Because we drove 10 hours.
You drove 1. I drove 9.
I offered to drive more, and you decided, you were like, no, I'm good. I'll come back in.
I would honestly
You've
say...
got a driving problem.
4 to 6 hours. 6 might be pushing it for me. But then again...
Thanks, Alexis, not Alex.
Some people aren't spoiled like myself and have access and get to watch the top-level players week in and week out.
Yeah.
So I think if you're within 4 hours and you don't see these players regularly and what they do in person, I think anything within 4 hours is worth coming to check it out.
Okay.
That's what I would say.
Did you say they have us on the big screen now?
No, that's scary.
Yeah, we're way up there on this giant, 100-inch TV, and we're on a large flat screen over there.
That's the last thing we need is something to make me bigger. All right?
Or me right now, honestly.
I'm not going there.
I know. So Yeah, I think you like to hold it over me that you drive so much. I offered to drive more. We got into Kansas City. I'd been driving a little over an hour. It was about 80 miles or so. And I was like, oh, I'll hit the rest. And you were like, no, I got it, bro. Go sit in the passenger seat.
Correct. You did offer, and I was just back in the mood and ready to go at it.
Because you couldn't
finish my editing
because the sun was too bright.
The sun was too bright. Those are the problems that I have. I'm trying to edit on the road, and I can't.
DG guy problems.
Exactly. So somebody asked earlier. More often than not, SmashBoxx has made the decision that I wouldn't use my personal car for a lot of these trips that we go to.
Correct.
So more often than not, I rent a car that gets used for the week or the weekend. And when you get a deal, Southwest.com, thank you to my friends over there. When you get a deal from Southwest and you're talking like $200 or less to have a car for 9 days, and you're going to put 1,000 or 1,500 miles on it,
you take it.
You take it. It's worth it to us, and we don't have to worry about anything
Did you
else.
talk at all about what the plans are as far as the broadcast this week?
Not specifically. So the real quick rundown is 3 days, 3 p.m. I believe all 3 days will be the same. 3 p.m. live broadcast will be at Emporia Country Club, and dare I say, we're going to attempt a booth again?
We are going to attempt a booth. I was at the DD warehouse where our booth is going to be. The plan is to have you and Robert behind the mic, and me sitting in that same room with you. So the delay that we saw for the first Pro Tour stop should be gone. So what you guys should be seeing should be very close to what we see. And our plan is to have 2 cameramen on the MPO and then 1 cameraman on the FPO. Now, the first day, we're not exactly sure. Oh, David's coming. So I'll quick sum this up. The first day, we're not exactly sure what's going to happen because of cell signal. We've got mixed signals as far as the cell signal goes for FPO day 1. But days 2 and 3, we know we can cover. So we're going to have MPO and FPO live at the same time, be able to flip back and forth.
Sweet.
All right. So I'm going to get up so David can sit down. And I'm going to go watch some more video games and chat with some more players. Maybe get myself another drink. And let me know if
will you pour some of those in there.
Do you need something?
I'll be good.
Okay.
For
all right.
now, maybe.
All right.
All right. So stepping out will be Johnny V. He'll go take in some of the activities. We're going to throw some headphones on and have a very, very special guest. Someone I think we last talked to, live last year at the Next Generation Championship finale. Dave Berglund, how you doing, buddy?
Nice to meet you again, Terry.
Pretty exciting week. Tell everyone what this means for you to be here at the Glass Blown Open again.
Oh man, where do I start with this one? This goes back a couple of years. I tell you that. I mean that if I need to rewind things in terms of just to put things in perspective, is that I mean that first of all to be here in itself is a humble thing in itself. I've been here and seeing everything grow from an event where it was a couple of hundred people and to know this massive 1,600 people being here. It is hard to grasp.
1,600 people, and I think Latitude sponsors what, about 1,500? You guys.
Well, I wish we did, but
you guys are very supportive of a lot of players.
True.
And it's awesome, and I mean nothing but positive by that. What does it mean as you guys are looking at sponsorship players or sponsored players and people want to get on the team? What does that mean to you? How do you guys actually go through that process?
Well, I would say that I mean that for us it's first of all there's based on the fact that Latitude is based in Europe.
Yep.
So we're not a US company by default, and we are also in a rural area of Sweden, which we come from a small town, so it's very important to try to have as close relationship as possible with the players, while we still have an ocean of disconnect. And it's really, really important for us to making sure that we get every opportunity to have people that more or less, I mean, they come from places where we can connect with each other.
Yeah.
So that means that take for example Emporia as a place which is quite similar to Skellefteå, where I come from in number of population and stuff like that. So it's very important for us that the players come from a community that has a huge family feeling in itself. That is important.
Well, it's and we see Dave Feldberg doing really big things, and we see such a presence within the entire Trilogy family, as it's always referred to. And for those that don't know, Dave here, owner of Latitude, but also, just to set it clear for the millionth time, Trilogy is not a company.
That is correct.
And some people don't know that, which is understandable because it's branded so much. You guys have 3 separate companies and with separate owners, and you guys just work really closely together. So just to, I don't want to break any hearts out there, but just so you guys know, Trilogy itself is not a company. That's confusing to some people, isn't it?
Yeah, and I understand it is, but it's no. I mean, it's understandable one way or the other as well, because based on the fact that the cooperation that we have, for example, with Dynamic, between Latitude and Dynamic, is so interlinked.
Yeah.
So that we speak to each other on a daily basis, on the phone, and we got email exchange going back and forth, and we share things on social media and stuff like that. But also that the connection within the company, not just between me and Jeremy, which is on a daily basis, but everybody else also have a communication between them, because we got an organization back home and they got an organization over here, and we have similar type of positions, and we always try to make each other look good. I mean, that we try to help each other in each possible way, and for some reason that also connect the business in itself.
Well, and we see a lot of the players will mix up their bags. I mean, obviously we have some Latitude players and DD players that throw exclusively that brand, but for the most part, you see some of the players dip into other companies and other brands and share among that whole Trilogy concept if there's a particular mold or disc that they really want to throw that suits them. What is next for you guys as you're here at the Glass Blown? What's the next big thing for you guys? Well, I hear there's a secret, but we can't talk about that yet.
Well,
and that's okay if we can't. Yeah.
Let's try to stay away from secrets as much as possible tonight. So I may get some bad feelings on that one. So I mean that I would say that, you know, it's based. If I talk purely from the Latitude perspective right now, is that one of the things that has been going on for a number of years is that I was going to give some background on it, that Latitude is by default and has been for the whole history, it's been an R&D and production company. So that means that has been our high skill and that we were working very hard on. And what we're trying to do with the next couple of years is we're trying to fine-tune everything as much as possible, but still be very flexible in our production and making sure that we can supply products that really people want to have, but with a quality consistency. And that, even if people don't really understand it, to actually produce a disc golf product is not that easy, and it's based on the fact that in injection molding you're actually putting in the plastic on the thinnest part of the product in the beginning, which means it's very, very hard in itself to try to be consistent. But that is, from a Latitude perspective, quality, consistency, and fine-tuning the operation back home, that's one part. The other part, which has been, I would say, and I acknowledge this myself, is quite poorly, is the branding thing of Latitude by itself. That is something that we're going to take a deeper look at going forward, especially both in the US but also in Europe in itself, because we added a lot of staff recently to making sure that we put a bigger face on the market, so to say.
Well, speaking of faces, I think of the Ricky Wysocki face, and I think of the new van that we see him that was wrapped and that's traveling around the country. I immediately knew when you guys put that out there, or when Ricky posted it, and the first question someone said was, why doesn't it say two-time world champion? I'm like, you're not thinking ahead. Ricky's got bigger plans than just his current two-time title. I know that's in his plans. What's it been like for these last 2 years specifically, having the current and reigning defending world champion as one of the faces of your player base. What's that been like for you?
I mean, one part of me hasn't really grasped it yet, to be honest with you. I mean that it's if I understand it correctly, I may be wrong on this, but I think that we were the third company that had a world championship. I know that Innova Disc Golf had it before, and I think that Latitude was the third company that had a world champion that we played for. I may be wrong on that one, but I think I'm right. But
no, you're funny. You're funny. It's funny. I've never thought of it that way, but
I think it's true. But somebody may be correcting me on this one. But anyway, I mean that for us, it's I mean that to get, first of all, when we signed Ricky, we knew what we had, and we knew it was a lot of potential with Ricky. And what has been very interesting for the last 2 years is actually to develop the relationship with him as a personality, and trying to understand and learn each other as well. And as time has gone by, I mean that Ricky is more family than ever for us. So it's awesome for us, and we do a lot of things. We were at a photo shoot today, and we just had a hilarious time and just laughing.
Well, and I'll follow that and say, I watched Ricky win his junior world championships in 2010. A couple years later, I'm watching him win his first major in the pro division at the International Disc Golf Center. I've seen him now win these 2 world championships and countless other wins that I've been there for. I've watched him grow as a person. I've watched him grow as a younger kid, 16 or so, into the young adult that he is. I've watched him grow from a media perspective. I've watched him grow as a player. And all of that is part of this, what I love so much about our sport, is me selfishly having those experiences and watching so many of our players grow. You're experiencing a lot of those same things with him, from a different perspective, but still experiencing those. What has he surprised you the most about?
Well, I mean that we all have to understand that Ricky is still a young person.
Yeah.
Even though that everybody has a birthday every year, he's still a young person, and I would say that he has matured a lot in 2 years' time. If we would go back 2 years ago, he's a totally different person. But with that said, he's still very, very humble as a personality, and he really, really is likable. He's very likable, and he definitely puts some effort into making sure that he knows what Latitude stands for, and we understand what he stands for, and we have grown, he has grown, and we tried to do that. We're not trying to get our head of ourselves in any way or form, and the relationship between us and him is just amazing.
All right, so the burning question that I just came up with is, you and Rusko go out and play a round of golf tomorrow at the country club. Who wins?
Well, it is an easy answer to that one.
What's that?
It's an easy answer to that one. I will win big time.
What if you went out and played right now in Rusko's condition? You still win even more?
No, I think that we're equal right now. Maybe, I don't know. We actually had a game last year. I think it was last year or the year before, and we played 9 holes, and we had a draw after that one, and we said we're going to pick it up sometime.
All right. Well, when you guys do finish that draw off, I want to know who came out on top. Anything else you want to share with the world right now?
I just, once again, it's coming from the position where I come from, and I just want to tell everybody that I'm super proud to be here. I'm very humbled to be here, and it's an honor to be at GBO, no question about it. I wish I just could spend more time in US and being all over the place and seeing everything that's going on, but thanks to you, Terry, I've been able to see a lot on video.
Awesome.
No question about it. And one of the things that strikes me that is very impressive is that yesterday I met a couple of people, not interlinked with each other in any way or form, but both of them said that this is the best event I've ever been at, and I'm going to come back. And the event hasn't even started.
Yeah.
That's just amazing.
It is, and we've talked, we'll continue to just pound it into everyone's head this week. the atmosphere here, the excitement, the camaraderie, the togetherness, the small town feel, but yet just this sense of community and the way they embrace us. And to have a population of 24,000 people and then have it a surge of 1,600 more show up, and just the way that we're welcomed here, and including our host here at Brickyard, it's just so amazing, and the feeling, and I'll be the first to say it. A few years ago, a couple people came back to Milwaukee and were like, "Oh, we were at GBO," and I was always like, yeah, I'll get there someday. And then finally I came 3 or 4 years ago for the first time, and I never want to miss it. It's a very, very special place to be, and Jeremy Rusko and all of DD and Latitude and Westside, all the sponsors, just everybody makes it what it is, and it's awesome. So,
it is.
right.
It's truly amazing.
It is. Well, all right, Dave, thank you again for joining. We'll look forward. I think we'll continue to talk. I do, and others continue to talk about what's happening. I think about Dave Felberg and the Next Gen Tour, which Latitude is hugely supportive of, and watching that unfold last year the way we did that.
That was amazing. That
amazing finish to Chris and everyone else over there. We're looking forward to more of that this year, and just looking forward to spreading the love around as much as we can.
It's going to be good.
Appreciate it.
It's going to be a good year.
Thank you. Appreciate it again. Have a good night. All right, again, Dave Berglund of Latitude 64, giving us some insights and scoops. Just nod. You're going to be just walking around taking it all in this week?
I'm just going to soak it in.
You're what?
I'm just going to soak it in.
He's just going to soak it in, and that's a very legitimate way to partake in the GBO experience. Just be here, soak it in, and again, talking about people that are here just playing the flex starts, people that are just here. I talked to a couple gentlemen, they're just spotting. They drove all the way here from more than like 10 hours away to simply spot and partake in this week. So it's awesome to see, and really no surprise with how great things have been. Uh-oh. You joining us?
I guess so.
All right, she guesses so. Joining me now, Tina Stenitis.
Hey guys.
Hey, how you doing?
Wonderful.
Good. So we've had a great night. We talked to Sarah Holcomb so far. We just talked to Dave from Latitude 64. Talked to James Conrad. Now you're joining us.
Cool.
Give everyone your feel goods of what's going on here before the event's even started.
Well, I mean, it's GBO, so this is a special place for sure. There's a million events. You can't go anywhere without seeing 100 other disc golfers and a bunch of signs from the local shops and stores saying welcome disc golf. It's cool to see a town that just loves and embraces disc golf. So we haven't even done much yet, and it's already amazing. Yeah,
it's and that's something Dave said. Is he spoke to a couple that said, "This is my," they said this is my favorite event of the year, and the event hasn't even started.
Right? No, it hasn't even come close to starting. It's great.
We're a couple days away.
Yeah.
So what's on your agenda for this week? Because I know you've been not competing as much. You've been injured. What's on your agenda this week? Let's start there.
I'm trying not to practice too much, but frankly, it's been really nice throwing some shots.
Okay.
I've missed my righty game.
Yes.
So I've been throwing the holes that I know that are tricky and that the tee shots are a little more technical.
Okay.
Cottonwood Falls has a lot of tee shots that you really need to understand.
Okay.
So we did that today, and tomorrow I've got a few holes at Jones East, hopefully before the rain comes in. It's supposed to rain all day, so I think it's kind of a day in for everybody, which honestly is good. My arm is so sore.
You're
I haven't used it in 2 months, so.
You're ready to take that break. And real quick, we'll talk about the weather. Obviously, it's a concern, or has been in the past.
Yeah.
And last year, this event was cut short due to the weather. Other than tomorrow, the forecast looks great.
Yeah.
So
For
we'll
the
take
first time in 4 years.
We'll take that, right? Other than tomorrow?
Yes, please.
Do you recall what it is? Did you see exactly what the forecast is?
I saw 80s, but it might have dropped a little bit. I just saw clear skies other than tomorrow.
Clear skies. So they're talking about, I'll fast forward to Thursday, I think 65 or 68 for a high. 65 or 68 on Friday, and then like 76 on Saturday.
Oh, okay, so it's dropped a little bit
but
since I last looked.
no real chance or threat of rain after tomorrow.
Which is a thrill. Like,
it is.
Every time we come here, it's kind of nerve-wracking, honestly, because we want this event to be amazing, and it is. All these side events are worth coming, I think. Even if you're not playing the event, there's so much to do here. But I know the weather's been a concern, and there was even rumor that if there was bad weather this year, they'd move it back later in the year just to try to avoid that. So happy to see that there's some good skies in the future.
Exactly. We may be blessed with some good weather. I mean, just think of Arkansas a few weeks ago.
Oh my gosh, it's been nuts.
Yeah, it has.
Like the day before the tournament start, it's 60 or 70 and beautiful, and I swear the day the tournament starts, every tournament that we've been to, it just drops, it's terrible, and then the day after the tournament, it's wonderful again.
Exactly.
What is happening?
And speaking of weather, right before Arkansas, the event took place, there was a blog and there was some talk out there. You took a trip to Nantucket.
I did.
I think there's a punchline in there I won't go to, but you took a trip to Nantucket and you did a little wedding planning.
Yeah.
You and your pal Paige Pierce. You want to give everybody the recap of what went down there?
So Eric and I, my
Oakley.
fiance,
Oakley. Okay.
my future Mr. Husband man, we are getting married on Nantucket Island. August 31st.
Oh,
I should probably know my own wedding date.
Here, just have another beer. You'll be fine.
August 31st, so it's right before the World Championship. Literally, we have like 2 days or 3 days to practice for Worlds in Vermont before or right after our wedding. So we have not been to Nantucket, but we are getting married in Nantucket. And Eric has still not been there, and he won't be there until we actually do get hitched. So it's a little crazy, but I mean, it fits our lifestyle. We're a little crazy.
A little crazy.
It works out.
And so the other thing that you're frequently updating and people are in the know of is your injury. You haven't been playing much. What exactly was your injury or is your injury, and on a scale of 1 to 100%, where do you feel like you are right now?
It's kind of hard to say, mostly because I've been through a lot in the last few months. Realistically, I've been injured for about 2 years, but I've ignored it. It's so hard to not play. Any disc golfer knows. It's just, you just want to play all the time, and we're around it 24/7, so it's hard to not play. And it was mildly injured before. My most recent doctor told me that I probably have some minor muscle tears.
Okay.
And so...
Where exactly?
In my right shoulder. So it's like rotator muscle or rotator cuff injury, but like some minor muscle tears, which just means a lot of the stuff that's in there freaks out, tightens up because it doesn't want you to do that movement anymore.
Okay.
And it's just kind of a cause or a reaction to the injury itself. So he suggested time off. Obviously, a lot of it's from disc golf, a lot of it's from working on whale sacks because I'm a workaholic. That's just how it goes. 12-hour days, it don't do you a whole lot of good. So I rested it since Waco, and I rested it for a month and a half or so in the off season. But unfortunately, it's kind of easy to flare up. But since I stopped playing after Waco, I've really done everything with my left hand. It's had a good rest, and I've played 3 full rounds since I have kind of gotten to work back into GBO, and a handful of like warm-up rounds before that, or shots, I guess. And it feels okay. My injury itself doesn't hurt. I haven't used my right arm for anything in 2 months, so I'm a little sore, just the general muscle soreness, but I feel good, and I haven't lost a lot of skill. Little distance, but not much skill, so that's good.
Well, and over the many years, too many that I've been around, when we talk to people that have been injured or had really serious injuries to their primary throwing arm, we find a lot of people, like you said, just can't not throw discs, and so they naturally then take it to their opposite hand, usually to their left, but take it to their opposite hand. So the real question though is, do you feel like in throwing with your opposite hand, was there anything mechanical or mental that you felt like, oh man, I really should apply this to my right side when I'm throwing again? Was there any of that discovery or no?
Maybe not a whole lot, but I found that learning lefty was so much easier than when I initially learned righty.
And is that because of your background and knowledge?
Yeah, it's more like like my toolbox is huge on my right arm. I know how to not throw nose up. I know what angles are. I know what annies and hyzers are. I know the difference between all of those things. And when I throw a shot and it's terrible, I know exactly why it's terrible. So it's easy to apply that, oh, I threw that nose up.
Yep.
Oh, I threw that on a hyzer, and like how to fix it. And, we just learned throughout the years of throwing righty how to throw better and better and better. And so you learn so much faster. I only have 4 months on my left arm, but I'm probably 2 years into what I would have been right-handed with my left hand, just because I have the knowledge base to like, obviously there's some misfires still. Let's be real, it's not great, but the knowledge comes a lot faster. So
exactly,
it's fun.
That's at any point. Might you think, well, now I've developed this left, like maybe even in trouble, would you ever be like, oh, I'd be comfortable enough to pitch out of here lefty because that's really that's the best angle? Would you do that?
I actually played an unsanctioned C tier in Kansas City, the marksman event.
Back up, an unsanctioned
C tier.
sorry. All right,
Terry,
I'm cutting you off. I'm cutting you off. That would be a new one for the PDGA, an unsanctioned C tier.
Unsanctioned C tier coming up. No, an unsanctioned marksman event is what I meant to say.
That's fair. Yep.
In Kansas City. And I got in a little bit of trouble, and my right-handed shot was just garbage. And so I was like, hey, I've got a lefty shot here.
Yeah.
So I did throw a lefty up shot. It didn't work out great, but I did it, which is cool. And then there are a few holes at Cottonwood Falls with OB on the left side, and I cannot turn over a drive with my left arm. It's not strong enough to do that. So throwing a lefty hyzer on those holes might make a lot of sense instead of trying to finesse something.
Yeah.
So it might come into play. I'm really excited to actually try some of that out. And I'm kind of in a spot right now, competitive-wise, I want to go play. I just want to play disc golf.
Okay.
I miss it so much. I just want to throw some shots and enjoy it. So throwing a couple lefty shots in there, here and there, whatever. I'm here to have a good time.
Exactly.
I love Emporia. Let's just have a good time.
So speaking of, I talked with Sarah Hokum about this. We're looking at 37 ultimately. It was around 40, but 37 registered women for this event. One of the largest fields that we've ever seen.
Amazing.
Which is awesome. What does that mean to you as the women's game continues to thrive and grow and develop? But what does that mean to have that substantial of a field?
I love it. And we were actually just talking about it maybe this morning even. At Worlds last year, we had 40 women. And we have 37 at this event.
Yep.
And it's a big national tour, right?
Yep.
But but that's huge. And I feel like every year it's working. Whatever we're doing in disc golf, it is working. We are growing the women's side. And even if it's not, the numbers are still dwarfed compared to the MPO field.
Sure.
But that's not saying we aren't making progress. Every year since I've been on tour, I'm seeing those numbers go up. No matter what event it is, those caps are moving up. And each event, I feel like, never has less players, unless it's maybe a lesser event. But the big ones on tour are growing every single year. So I'm stoked to see that. I'm a huge advocate for women's disc golf, obviously. You gotta love it if you're a part of it. So here we are. So I'm super stoked, and GBO of all the events, this is the one to be at. I may be partial being part of DD. It's a magical place.
It really is. And I have no direct sponsor affiliation with any. I work with all the manufacturers. They're all very supportive of what we do. But I can still rave about how amazing it is to be here, and it's become a very magical place for a lot of people. 1,600 probably this week. There's so many great things going on here, and they put on such a good show. The golf is great, but there's so much more to experience.
There's so much to do, and right here we have Madison Walker, Zach Melton, Eric Oakley, Kobe Guys, Crystal Lesbo. Yeah, they're like mostly DD players. Katrina Allen.
We just talked to James
Big
Conrad.
arms.
Yep.
James Conrad, Weston. Like, there are so many pros out here. And
Just hanging out.
We're just at a bar in Emporia, hanging out, playing pool, playing darts, whatever. And, like, that's how it is. And you can just go anywhere and see some of the best players in the world just hanging out with everybody else.
Well,
it's
and that's
great.
what's so cool is, you know, we talk about how accessible and friendly and how much, you know, togetherness there is in our sport. But even with all of that being said, you may not have that opportunity all too often. But when you come to a place like here, you're going to run into a lot of these players somewhere. A lot of them will come out and be social. And so having that interaction or getting that autograph, getting that picture, those are some really cool moments that people get to take part of here.
It means a lot to a lot of people that do come to this tournament in general. I feel like a lot of them come to mingle and to meet some people, and the beer fest was yesterday and the bowling was yesterday. Like, there's so many events, so it's definitely worth it. If you're not here, be here next year.
So you did just mention a moment ago, I think you did, I haven't seen Paige. I've been here for a day and a half. Where's Paige? Where's
Paige
she
is
hiding?
at Bourbon right now. She's at the other bar.
Do not say them on the air here. I will get kicked. No. Bourbon Cowboy around the block. Also great supporters of the event. I think we're going to be live from there one of the nights yet this week. One of the cool things they do over there, they have 18 baskets set up around.
Little ones, right?
Yeah,
or
little mini baskets set up. They had in the past
course.
they've had 18 different disc golf baskets, mini baskets set up, and you can go over there and play free mini golf.
Yeah. And then there's a restaurant you can putt for your lunch. You have to make like a 60-footer, and if you make it, you get your lunch paid for.
Why am I just hearing about this?
It's so cool. I can't remember what the restaurant's called.
Wow, we're going to have to look into that.
Yeah, we'll have to figure it out.
That sounds like
we'll let you guys know.
That sounds like a good plan. Johnny will probably make me putt for him too. So
yeah, you might need to.
I may need to. Anything else you want to share with the disc golf community as people are going to be tuning in throughout the week?
I guess, I'm going to put in a plug for the ladies, but watch all the ladies coverage that you possibly can. I think that Paige and Kat and Sarah, they put up some amazing rounds. They have some amazing skills, and if you haven't seen them throw, you're missing out. Some of the stuff Paige does is unreal, and if you haven't seen it, you absolutely need to.
All right, I'll segue. Great.
You're welcome.
I'll segue because Jeremy, everybody was giving me a hard time. Well, some of you were. I need to quit reading the silly comments here. I was asking Sarah earlier, and I'll ask you the same question. What you just referenced Paige's amazing skills and talents. What about her that you see as a good friend and as a competitor to her? What does she do so well that maybe what are you trying to learn from or not to do or not to do?
Absolutely.
What are some of the things you take away from her game?
She's got some fire that I haven't seen in any player. MPO, FPO, it doesn't matter. But she can be behind by 6 and she's not defeated. She'll start that round and say, I'm going to win this thing. And she doesn't take that as, something that's intimidating. She hyper focuses and executes each shot that she needs to. It's just like taking competition to a whole new level. And I don't have a competitive background. She grew up in it, and that's awesome. I really didn't. I played in marching band. I twirl the flag around.
Oh,
so that's not super
You're scaring me.
competitive.
You're scaring me.
But she just has this drive, and I know we're talking about distances, and I think for a lot of the whole FPO field, that is definitely comes into play. I only throw 300 is like right in my range, and that's great, but she throws 500, and that's insane for our field. So I know distance comes into play a lot for that conversation, but really when it comes to how do we keep up with Paige, we need to learn how to be competitive.
Okay.
And she's got this fierceness to her that I've never seen.
Sure.
She can just turn it on and hyper focus on how do I win this, and has this ability to turn something that makes most of us nervous into super competitive drive. It's unreal.
And is it fair to say, to follow that point, is it fair to say some of that can't be learned and or even developed? Like some people just have a certain degree of intensity and competitiveness and focus that just can't be rivaled no matter how much you practice?
I mean,
is that fair?
On a personal level, I would say I have no idea how to reach that. So I would say, yeah, some people just are maybe born with it, but she has grown up in that competitive nature. So, you know, maybe she's just so dialed into it, and her skill level, obviously. She's been playing forever too. She understands the disc more than most people. So, like, there's a lot that goes into why she's so good. But yeah, the competitive side, I'm still figuring that out.
Well, and clearly I was never a top level player, but I always thought I could practice, I could get better. But when I always go back to, and I think you're silly if you can't, I go back to the 2014 playoff with Macbeth and Wysocki in Portland, and I think the calmness and yet intensity in both of them with every single putt. All I kept thinking is, like, you have a 12-footer to push the worlds. Oh, you have a 50-footer to push for the world championships, to carry you to the next hole, and to watch those two throw those shots back and forth. What was going through my head is, I could never learn that. I don't care if I can make 100 out of 100 putts from 50 feet with the world championships on the line. I couldn't do it.
Right.
And I don't know if that's always learned or can be learned.
It definitely gets better throughout the years, you know. Eric and I were just talking about this yesterday, actually. It's confidence, playing under pressure and playing under different situations. I just played an event, and granted it was my first that I've played with my shoulder, and so I was really feeling things out. I did throw a lefty shot that I shouldn't have thrown, and like a couple other things. I'm like, I'm gonna try this just for fun because I hadn't played in so long. But you know, we talked about, okay, I learned how to deal with this pressure at Waco, and then the second round I learned how to deal with this kind of pressure, and you're learning tiny tidbits of information on how to deal with that kind of pressure. And that'll add up over 10 years, sure. But who knows the next time I'm going to be in that specific situation? Who knows when I'm going to be down 2 strokes to take the win and then throw it away because I don't know how to play with that kind of pressure. But, like, you know, a couple more times of playing with that kind of pressure, and maybe I can finally figure it out. But maybe that's 2 years from now. Maybe that's next week. Maybe that's 6 years from now. Who knows how much I need to learn before I get to that point. So, and some people are just better at dealing with pressure in general. And Eric, I think, if I can throw him into this, he is a great example. 2 years ago, or 3 years ago when I met him, you know, he did not play well under pressure. He crumbled just like the rest of us. And now he's 1,000 rated, like killing it in tournaments. And I've seen him check scores and play just the same, even though he knows he's behind by XYZ or whatever. And it took him about 2 years to learn how to be that good. And so it's really inspiring to me to see that, you know, he could do it in a short amount of time. Who's to say I couldn't too?
Well, and to follow that point exactly, I will say, when you get pressured to move up in a division, and this could be rec to intermediate to advance to pro. Yeah. When you get pressured and your rating isn't, you know, forcing you to go to that next level, you're not a sandbagger if you're playing within, of course, the rules, and B, I don't care. Stay there and learn. You have to learn how to, just like you have to learn how to lose, you have to learn how to win.
Absolutely.
And so many people are like, well, I played in my first ever tournament. I won rec by 3. I went to intermediate, and you know, I got, you know, I never did well there, or whatever. Or I won my first advanced tournament, and immediately everybody pressured me to move to open. Yeah. And then I went there and never cashed for the next 4 years. Yeah. There's nothing wrong, again, with if you're within your ratings, of course, always abide by those. But if you're within the ratings, learn how to win. And some people may be in that position 3 or 4 times or over a number of years. I just can't stress that enough. You need to learn how to win tournaments and to have that pressure. And if that means you're in advanced and you're on that lead card, once you're bored being on the lead card and you know you're going to win, then maybe you're ready to move on.
Yeah.
But you need to get comfortable in that position.
Winning is a whole different game than just playing. And it really is. It's something interesting because I started traveling a lot, and I did play some advanced tournaments while I was traveling.
Mm-hmm.
But within your region, you might be playing against players that aren't even close to people you will play if you go play anywhere else.
Exactly.
You might be playing against players that are just substantially lower rated or just aren't as talented. I'm not trying to slight anybody, but
or maybe already feel defeated when they're playing you, and then they'll play their best game. There's a
Sure. And I'm a huge advocate for playing tournaments above your, if you're in advanced, go play some open tournaments. Just dabble in that, see how it feels. You're going to learn a lot from watching those players. But you don't have to commit to it. I played a ton of pro events while I was an advanced player just to learn.
Exactly.
Just to see and just to understand what that felt like. But you don't have to move up, to see that kind of stuff. I definitely agree. I think I personally moved up before I should have, but I committed to it, and I knew what I was doing, and I knew that I was going to be at the bottom for a while. But I also have whale sex to kind of coast me until I need to make money playing disc golf. Right now, I'm good. It's still kind of a hobby.
So before we let you go, we got to talk about whale sacks. What are they? How do people use them? How can people get them? Give your full-blown plug here.
My full-blown, okay. Whale sacks are amazing. They're the best thing you could ever buy.
I'm drinking one right now. Wait, no.
No,
you don't want to drink them.
No, you don't. It's clay. You don't want to drink clay. Whale sacks. It is my company. I'm going on year 4, which is amazing and crazy. Can you believe that?
I can, because you and I were sharing living room space in Arizona
that was
3 years ago.
Beginning.
And I was editing, and you were whale sacking, if that's a verb now.
Yeah.
I'll just
sacking.
say it is.
We were sacking.
Yep. And we were sharing stories about entrepreneurial spirit, and we were all of that stuff. And I think that was, 3 years ago.
Yep.
So here we are.
That's awesome. That's a good memory.
It is.
So whale sacks are bags to dry your hands. They're shaped like a whale. They have clay on the inside. And the tail part of the whale ties onto your bag so you don't lose it. In theory, people still lose them. They're kind of fun to hang on to and use as a stress ball. So it's just clay on the inside. It's not super dusty, but it does have some powder to it. It pulls the moisture off your hands and gives you a little bit of tack. You can use it to dry off your disc. And I make them myself with the help of my grandmother and my best friend Erica.
Made in the USA?
Made in the USA.
With grandma's hands.
But I finish every one myself. They are completely handmade by me at some point. There's a website, whalesacks.com. You can get them there, or you can get them this weekend at GBO. And I just got some really cool new hats, so check that out.
As soon as you sat down, somebody said, Tina, I need a smaller hat. You got a smaller hat?
I've got some curved bills, different sizes. I have the tiniest head in the world other than babies, so if they fit me, they'll fit you.
My pro tip is, once you have babies at some point, then they can craft your whale sacks for you, and that's free work.
Okay, that seems like a lot of work, but not the worst idea.
The babies are a lot of, they can be.
The babies are a lot of work.
But if it pays off,
It might. Slave labor.
You need those workers or something. I don't know. I don't know where we're going with this one.
Probably not a good direction.
And I will also say, last weekend's A-tier winner at the Rumble was using a whale sack. So
obviously they're good.
Yeah, if you just want to win an A-tier.
Paige uses them. Zach Melton uses them. Zoe.
I mean, come on.
There's a big 20 people. Got 20 humans on the team that fully support whale sacks. 20 out of how many trillion people do we have?
What are baby whales?
Baby whales.
There's no special term for them?
The little ones?
Yeah. All right, things to ponder and Google later. All right, any parting shots?
Y'all let us know, because I'm not sure.
The internet will always let you know when you're not doing something right. That's what they tell me. Ollie Axmark, thank you so much for your super chat of 20-somethings. What are SEKs?
What's a super chat?
Oh, you should find out. So, a super chat. Glad you asked, Tina. When people want to be incredibly gracious and support what we're doing, they simply click on this little dollar sign right here, and it basically shoots over an instant donation to our SmashBoxxTV account.
That's awesome.
And we usually give them a huge shout out and thank them, whoever it is.
Ollie?
So thank you so much. So Ollie Axmark, you can buy blonde stuff for that. I think you're talking about beverages, maybe. I'm hoping so.
Did you just buy me a beer?
I think we're gonna have to.
Thanks, Ollie.
We'll make that happen one way or another. Belugas? I don't know. Beluga?
No, that's a certain type of whale.
Yeah.
And what we call our junior team.
And thank you. On the board it says Itzen. That's a Swedish kroner. So thank you very much.
Good to know.
Oh, somebody says it's like $2.50. All right, well, I'll go halvesies on a beer for you.
Thanks, Terry, I guess.
We'll make it happen, I promise. All right, well, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks
I'm
for
sure we're
having
going to
me.
see you more and talk to you more throughout the week. Pretty exciting week, for sure.
It'll be great, no
And
matter what.
no
Watch
matter
the
what
coverage,
happens.
please.
Watch the coverage. You got it. Dan Harbeck, thank you, one of our favorite Smashies out there, says, "What's up, Tina?" And
Hey,
is
Dan.
also a super chatter. So thank you so much, Dan. I
Awesome.
appreciate that. And a whale baby is a calf. A
that
baby
makes
whale
sense.
is a calf.
Just like cows.
A cow.
hmm
Wow.
We're both from Wisconsin. You can tell we both went to cows
Yeah,
immediately.
der. We both from the
Oh, yeah, you
Midwestern
betcha.
there. Yeah, you betcha. From the Midwestern there, Hayes. That's where we're from. All right. Thank you so much. We'll be talking to you more.
Thanks for
Take
having
care.
me,
Have a
Terry.
good night.
It's good to see you.
All right. Good to see you as well, Tina.
Bye, guys.
All right. We're going to let Tina Stenitis go. She's got calves, whale calves to attend to.
Hi, Terry.
Or something like that. How we doing?
I'm doing great.
All righty.
You know how great I'm doing?
Maybe.
First place.
In
First
what?
place Street Fighter Championship.
You know, so here's what proves it. You can have
Zero disc golf skills.
less than top-notch disc golf skills, and you can be still a winner at the GBO.
I am a Street
Wow.
Fighter 2 champion.
Arcade Challenge.
I'm just saying, I got a disc.
Very impressive.
This honestly might be my second most impressive disc golf victory behind. I mean, the team tournament was great.
Yeah.
And winning the Dark Side of the Disc was pretty awesome.
Yeah, yeah.
But this might be number 3 because I love me some Street Fighter.
Wow.
So, yeah, well, it is, it is what it is. So
Little known fact, I've never in my life played 1 minute of Street Fighter.
Okay.
But not really too surprising. I'm
Not- no,
I'm
you're
not
not-
an arcade guy.
Not much of an arcade guy. I happen to love it. So
Wow.
what time is it? It's 11:21.
Holy cow. A real quick shout out. Rick Cushane is one of our tried and true trusted cameramen. Well, I don't know what trusted. Tried and true cameramen. He is on his way with 2 of our other cameramen, Gary to the O, along with Chad Inman. Shout out if you guys are maybe in the car. They are on their way down. They left. 2 of them left Wisconsin along with Dustin. Left Wisconsin, then swung through Kansas City to pick up Rick, and then are on their way down here to the Brickyard 20, and it is Rick's birthday. So happy birthday to our great friend and cameraman in Rick Cushane. Happy birthday, buddy. Seth says he doesn't trust Rick. Yeah, I'm not saying I do.
No,
either.
I wouldn't either. I wouldn't. If someone says I look a little drunk, not quite yet, but I'm starting to feel good.
He's starting to feel good. Rick says thanks. Well, hey, Rick.
Yes.
Hopefully we'll see you here soon. I think Tina Stenitis said she's buying you a beer for your birthday. Or I just
Awesome.
made that up.
Well, if he makes it here tonight, I'll buy him a beer.
They're
I mean,
30 minutes
on-
out. Oh,
on
you're going to walk
Smashbox.
in like with 2 minutes left before your birthday's over, Rick. You better get here soon, otherwise it won't count. All right, so a couple questions on the board real quickly before we catch up with some other stuff. Nate Doss status. I talked to Nate today. He was at a beer, what do you call it? A beer swap, I think, or a beer something or other. Beer
Okay.
sharing thing. I don't know how his arm is. I think he's playing. We'll go with that for now. Good night, Itzen. Appreciate it. Thank you. Good night. Need to get to the gym before you change your mind. Good call. I'd get over there to the gym. What Street Fighter character did you use?
I used Ken, which was basically a clone of Ryu, and I cleaned some house. I will say that I did lose one match, but I came back to win the next one, and then I played against the guy who's running it, and he cleaned my clock, flat out. He turned to me and he goes,
"That's the point, right?
Yeah,
beat people up."
He turned to me and said, "When I was deployed in Iraq, this is all we did." When we and he's better than me.
Yeah, well,
hands down. So I had a good night. I did almost beat him with one of the other characters, the girl named Chun-Li, one of my favorites. But again, so weird not playing with a controller like I'm so used to. It's different.
I can understand that.
I'm cool though.
Shout out for me, Terry, for Damn It Dan. I think that was just a shout out. There you go. You got it. I don't know. Well, I guess other than the all too important Street Fighter action, anything else going on around here that we should be making note of?
Absolutely not. We've got a bunch of pros here. I see Kevin Jones, Katrina Allen, Jeremy Rusko. We obviously
Zach Melton,
Tina Sinitis stopped in here. Eric Oakley is obviously here. We've seen a bunch of pros. We don't want to kind of Madison Walker is here. Kobe Geis. We don't want to get everybody in on the first night, so I think we're going to save some people. And how much longer do you think we're going to be doing this?
I'd like 6 hours.
That's it?
Yeah, 6 more hours. No, I'm good whenever. No, I do not see Greg Barsby at the moment. I don't think he's been here tonight. The night's still young, though, so anything could happen. Billy Mitchell is saying he has proof that he didn't cheat.
Ooh. I was saying that a friend of mine, right after that Billy Mitchell info broke, that they said he used some sort of emulator. There was the Midwest Gaming Expo 2 weekends ago, or last weekend or something. A friend of mine interviewed him like days after it happened. It was one of the first interviews for his little local Milwaukee podcast because Billy Mitchell was there. So I think it's like Games and Brews. I forget what his podcast is. But or I don't know. But anyway, he got a chance to interview him, and I thought it was pretty cool.
The Juice is here. I picked up a couple of the Juice fundraiser discs back in the South Florida Open a few months ago, so I think he has some of those still available. Ryan says get Madison on. Madison came over here. She walked in. She gave me a really funny look. I think she did some kind of goofy wiggle and then walked away, and I don't need any part of that. She can just keep on walking. Maybe she has something going on.
We'll have Madison on later this week, I'm sure.
We'll definitely get Madison in here at some point for sure. Good night from Durango. Yes, Wes, have a great night. Thank you so much for being here. We appreciate it. And then just real quickly, Billy Mitchell, just as a clarification, so those who may not know the household name,
Donkey Kong player.
Donkey Kong, Pac-Man.
Classic arcade.
Yeah, and there was some controversy around some of his previous records. That was the context of what the quick conversation was there. Is this Saturday Night Live? No.
Not on Monday.
No, never mind. I don't really have too much. I don't know if we need to bother having an after show. I feel like it's been pretty chaotic tonight. If you guys do have questions, I'll give you that right now. Fire them in here. If they're appropriate or I want to actually answer it, I will. If not, I may just skip right over it.
We'll try to get Double G on this week as well if we can.
Yeah, I mean, I'll reiterate again. We're going to set up in remote locations or at these satellite locations throughout the entire week, and it is very touch and go. No, it's very sporadic as to who we will. It's whoever's walking by that makes for a good fit to have them sit down and join us. And there's very little
pre-planning.
There's very little planning.
Yeah. Actually, that's what happened with Tina. I was playing video games, and I saw that was it David who was here before her?
Yeah, I believe so.
I think it was David.
Berglund, yep.
David. He was standing up, and I turned around. I was like, "Oh crap! I need to go back." And I looked at Tina. I said, "Hey, Tina, I think it's your turn for the podcast. And I pushed her.
That's it.
And that's all she came over.
That's all it takes.
She came over and sat down, so that's all it really takes.
All right, I'm going to read through a few. Terry's been pissed at the board all night. No, Dad's drunk. I'm just sick of your stupid comments. Jarrett says, when you all challenging CCDG and Jomez, they flat out have admitted to the world they're scared. They're scared.
I mean,
Zach Melton will have on later in the week. I think he's busy dabbing. So we'll have him on later in the week. But yeah, they don't want to play us because apparently they're scared. That's fine. Can we get a media coverage game plan quick? Disc Golf Nerd says yes. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, 3 p.m. Live with the MPO cards. We're also going to try and not splice in, but cut over to live footage of the FPO who are playing at the exact same time. We're going to do the best that we can as Signal provides it. So that's the plan. You're going to see we're here, Robert McCall and myself in a booth that will be coming out of the Dynamic Distribution warehouse headquarters. And then we'll have 3 cameramen ultimately out on the ground at probably 2 different courses. So that's a real quick rundown. And then every night at some time, maybe 9, maybe earlier, probably, about that, you'll have some kind of a live podcast wrapping up the day's action, interviewing and talking to a bunch of our sports movers, shakers, and promoters and players. All right? So that's what's going on there. I'm going to keep reading. Are we getting Steve Dodge coverage this week? No? Maybe. Steve Dodge playing in Open Pro Tour.
10:40 tee time.
10:40 tee time, our Pro Tour director. He's eligible for older divisions, but he said, I would like to beat the best. So Steve Dodge, follow him on hopefully UDisc live tomorrow, or I'm sorry, on Thursday. Steve Dodge, 10:40 tee time for Steve Dodge. You get to watch some of that action unfold. Chelsea said I didn't call out your super chat. Thank you, Chelsea Overstreet. Appreciate it. Have a good night, boys. Team Hull says. Chris Young says, sweet. Terry, can you get Austin Turner to explain what a Discraft Vulture is? If I see Austin and he joins us, yes. That's a good one. How about our picks this week?
Oh, God, I need to make my picks yet. It's funny because tonight with the Fantasy Disc Golf, I've been watching all these people sign up and put their picks in. I haven't done...
Oh, you cheater. Well, you watch them put their picks in?
Well, it's fine because there's an unlimited salary cap here for the special secret GBO one.
Oh,
so it's just who do you think is going to take the top 4?
Okay.
And which I think it's a little different aspect because you might want to pick a dark horse. You might want to pick a Joel Freeman, Double G, if he were here at Camp
Steve
Todd.
Dodge.
Steve Dodge. Certainly Steve Dodge.
Steve Dodge.
So everyone can pick who they want. It's a little secret. I need to find out who I want to pick for some of the salary capped ones. I think Ricky's going to do well here. I would say Joel Freeman's a top 10 player. It's hard to bet against the way Double G's been playing. Macbeth, top 5 probably. It's an NT. It's hard to bet against him. But other than that, I don't know. I honestly don't know.
There's a gentleman trying to figure out the delay. Here, I'll help you. He's trying to figure out the delay. We're on the big screens and a few of the TVs here in the bar, and we're trying to look at the delay between us on here and then how much longer before we appear. There you are on the screen. So, and he's blitzed. Okay, so he may still not figure that one out. All right. So get your picks in. You have about 24-ish hours to do that.
24 hours.
Am I sponsored by Miller Lite? No, but Wilbur Wallace and Ryan Pilcher both bought me beverages, and I appreciate that. Somebody brings me a beverage, I'm going to drink it. So thank you, guys. Steve Dodge, Opie Lake. The men are not playing Opie Lake. In fact, the MPO nor the FPO, neither of them are playing Opie.
MPO is 3 rounds of the Country Club. FPO is going to be Swope, Jones East, and Peter Pan.
Yep, not in
that order.
Close. Show tomorrow night. Yes, Chris. Every night, look for a show. Smashbox stuff for sale at the Fly Martin Block Party. There's going to be a few discs that we have that will be available, and I might have a couple T-shirts along. There's also going to be a debut, plug for myself, debut of a disc golf guy disc as well. So we'll have a couple different discs. We don't have a ton of merch here, but we do have a few things. Dan Harbeck says, check my private messenger. Dan, I don't see anything from you on Facebook, if that's where you're reaching out. Thank you for the support. I want to try and read through these, sorry. Yes, show Rick Cushane. Have a good night, guys. Looks like a good time. It is. Oh, yeah, we already talked about that.
I'm going to say this. Someone's picking Eagle. Someone said they changed their picks from Sexton to Eagle. Matt Pitke. I don't know. Maybe that's a good move. Maybe it's not. I can't say yet. I'll tell you on Saturday. But there is a lot of OB on this course for the MPO. So distance, while it will be good, you better be accurate. And I think Sexton is a safer play, so to speak. Eagle has higher potential if he's on, but it's so tough. There's so much OB on this course.
Okay. Giveaway, Terry and Johnny. Yes, we'll get a giveaway. It'll either be something DD, and if they don't give us something, Bobby, give us something to give away. If not, I'll give something away. But yes, we just have to figure out how we're going to do. Oh, you want to
Should I set it up right now?
Yeah, pull up your Patreon thing. So Johnny's going to work on that. I'm going to read through a few more final comments. Whoa, I went to get a beer. Show over. No, we're still here. Cool one. I will probably review The Vulture on Smashbox and for the channel soon. Love the channel. Thank you guys. Love the show. Hair off. I feel like I need a haircut to keep up with McCall at this point, and I might be too late on that.
I got a new haircut last week and new glasses.
Can you do some window-in-window coverage of the FPO? We're going to do the best we can, that when the women have play going on, the best that we can, we're going to incorporate and cut to it as well when it works out the best. Hence, we're doing the best we can. Ali asked if we're in Eastern or Central time zone. This is definitely Central time zone. So it's 11:35 p.m. Central right now. 3 p.m. Central is when we'll be starting the broadcast each day. Johnny looks like he just realized he's hammered. He's hammed.
I'm not.
He's not yet.
I'm not yet. It's an early night.
I'll tell you when he is. Don't worry. Yes, tough picks. I'm sorry, I'm reading all through those. I'm getting a little behind. Ricky and Paul will do well. Double G top 3. Terry goes ASL. Age, sex, location? I don't know. Terry, a black tooth grin, courtesy of Pantera. Are you two getting around in while you're there? Probably not. We thought about it, but likely won't happen. Michael thinks it's going to be a disc maniac winning. That's a fair guess.
I wouldn't sell Kevin Jones short. Dude's got incredible distance, which will help out, much like Eagle and Simon. We'll just see, like again, the more distance you have, the more danger you run into down the fairway. But don't go short on Kevin Jones.
Dad's Drunk says Eagle's the best disc golfer in the world this year. To be determined.
I disagree.
That's a bold statement, but I can appreciate it. Rocks, my spelling, yeah. Sexy came in third last year. And Eagle needs to elevation down. Nate is smarter. Eagle hasn't played like Nate yet. Johnny, they want you to give away the Street Fighter. You shouldn't want the Street Fighter disc. First of all, he won't give it up. Second of all,
I might sleep with this tonight.
You shouldn't want that. Come on. American Sign Language.
This.
I know, like this much.
You weren't throwing
ASL.
dragon punches. You weren't going Sharukin.
I know very little ASL, thanks to some disc golfers, actually. Nico is a dark horse. I'm waiting for Nico to bust something out, that's for sure. Watch. Are we getting new PDGA ad for the event? No. I think it's being worked on, but I don't think we've seen one. If you rate disc golfers like college football and only base it on this year, Eagle has been the best this year. Is there even an argument?
Is Eagle leading the Disc Golf Pro Tour standings?
No. Hi, Madison. How you doing?
What are y'all doing?
We're podcasting. How you doing?
Good.
We were saying we should have you on the show later in the week.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that?
No.
Not into it.
Why not?
And get the hell off the set.
But he said, well, why not?
Why wouldn't you want? Why wouldn't you be into the podcast?
Because I'm too busy running the pool table.
Wow.
Dang.
Are you going to get one of these? The winning disc for the arcade challenge?
When you trophy up.
I did. See?
See? She says you would.
I
Yeah.
did.
That's not. I'm not even surprised.
No, why
I'm
would...
not even gonna congratulate you. I'm just kidding. Congratulations.
Ouch.
No high five.
He just left me hanging.
No.
Johnny B just left me hanging.
I might carry you out of this bar, Madison Walker. I'm big enough to do that.
Wow. Real quick. What's your pool rating? If you rated yourself in the game of pool, billiards, what would you rate yourself?
Can they hear me?
If you talk closer.
If you talk a little closer.
I just want to justify it by saying that I'm probably about 930 rated, but like I am an AM. I'm not a pro. I'm not consistent 930. I play like a 990, 1,000 rated, and then I follow it up by like an 880.
Okay.
It's like a mountain and then Death Valley, and then Mount Whitney and then Death Valley.
So here's my
and
question.
then the Marianas Trench.
Wow. Here's my question. If you had to pick a video game, what video game are you best at? Any video game you've ever played?
I don't play video games.
Any? Like zero? You've never played
Like
Mario or Tetris?
Mario Kart? None of those?
You just nothing?
I'm
College
pretty,
days,
I'm
sitting
pretty,
around?
No,
Or
I will.
any phone
I will
games?
wear people out at Tetris, and also in college, occasionally we get together in dorm rooms and play Super Smash Brothers.
There
But
you go.
I'm only good at it because you just can press
You mash
all
the buttons.
and be good at it.
All right. That's all I wanted to know.
That's it. Oh,
All right.
Donkey Kong on Game Boy.
You and Billy Mitchell.
Oh, excellent.
All right, Mads.
I just was coming for a hug more than anything.
I guess you'll get one.
I got a
Walker,
great one earlier.
She'll join us later in the week at some time or another. We'll have her join us. All right.
I'm ready to give away a Patreon disc for tonight.
All right. Let me read through a couple more of these questions. Disagree. Okay, we skipped all that. German Sleeves interview now. No, we'll interview her later. Madison Thunderpecker, go out and buy one of her discs to support her. That'd be great. Her opinion on Paige and why she's so good. She would go on and on for us. Since I know you didn't like that line of questioning. Good night, Tina. Yes, good night, Tina. Wherever she is. All right. I think we got it. White Girl Wasted, Thunderpecker, Team Florida. That's it.
All right, let's do a Patreon giveaway for tonight. We'll find something fun to give away.
Something DD,
something DD
glass
and
blown
GBO related.
hopefully, and if not, is this?
Someone dabbed on our show.
Oh, so hard. Core.
All right, we have 185 patrons this week. So
all right, how
thank
many
you.
guests did we have tonight? Let's real
wow.
quick. We had
Do you count Madison?
no.
Okay.
God no. I'm just kidding. So we opened the show. We had Sarah Hokum.
Correct.
We had Dave Berglund. We had
Conrad.
James Conrad. After him, we had Tina Stenitis. And I think those were all of our official guests. So 4 is the number.
Boom. 4. So
4 is the number. That's what I was arriving
I'm going
at.
to generate 4 numbers.
Jeremy Stewart said 4.
I'm not going to, I can't show you just the way this stuff is set up today, so I'm just going to rattle off what numbers they are. 160, 110, 82, and the number of the winner is 142.
142 from our spreadsheet. Johnny's going to read it to you.
Wes Kepi.
Wes
Kepi.
Kepi.
Congratulations, Wes Kepi, on your whatever we send you.
We'll send you something.
Your DDGBO prize tonight.
Yay.
So, Wes Kepi, you are the champion of the world.
Yes, you have officially dethroned Billy Mitchell, one way or another. So, Wes Kepi, you are our winner.
Our
make sure you
Patreon
send
winner.
the emails out to him and me and to everyone else.
I'll
So.
make sure to do that.
All right, guys and gals and males and females and dogs and
I think we've had a fun
Donkey
night.
Kongs.
I've had a fun night.
It's going to end early. I think there should have been a special guest appearance by Rick, but on his birthday. But unless he's here in the next minute,
He's not going to be. He won't be here for another 20 or so.
So happy birthday again to Rick, our cameraman. He spent it traveling to the GBO and you'll arrive here at the party.
Welcome to the Masters Division.
Oh, Rick. So good. All right, guys. Wes, Kepi, there you are. You're on the board. How random? Well, random.org random. That's how random. Thank you for being a Patreon supporter. That's why you were eligible. And
I met 2 Patreon supporters just in
it.
this bar tonight, and I thank them profusely. So
I think we need about 100 more out there. Go get them. Go find them. Go make them.
Can't do that.
All right, we're going to officially close this thing out. It's been a great night. I want to thank all the sponsors that all the guests that we just had on tonight, and you're going to see more of it throughout the week. Can't promise who they're going to be. It's going to be a lot of good people.
Every week, every year, GBO is the most fun week of the year.
Yes, exactly. Oh, Disc Golf Nerd, your shameless plug for 5,000 subscribers. Giveaway is active now for a signed EMAC Truth with your stamp. So go out and support Disc Golf Nerd. He supports us. He helps our broadcast, and he puts out great disc reviews for everyone to consume. So please go out, thank him. Make sure you also subscribe to him as well. So for Johnny V and Terry Miller, the Disc Golf Guy, for all of our guests that I just mentioned earlier, for Cool Daddy Slick Breeze, Bobby Brown, and the entire media crew, the Dynamic Disc crew, Kobe the Juice over there, everybody else that's here, for the city and town of Emporia, and our supporters and fans and sponsors. Just thank you guys so much. You're going to hear a lot of that throughout the week.
See you tomorrow night.
It's a great place to be. Johnny, Disc Golf Guy, see you tomorrow when you step inside the Smashbox.